Well, good morning, y'all. Good morning, and welcome into the Gridiron Podcast Show. We got a great episode for you guys today. Joining me today will be the host of the X Fan Show, my man Dirty and A Train. They'll be joining us here in a moment. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like the stream on YouTube, like the stream on Facebook as well. They are streaming live on their Facebook channel. So definitely go and pull them up as well. We're going to, like I said, we have a great show for you today. We got the XFL rookie draft today, news that we're going to be covering. It wasn't live. Like I said, it wasn't going to be live, but they did post the draft results. So as you see at the bottom, the first round of results I threw in there for you guys. But if you go to XFL.com, you will see all rounds, all 10 rounds, all 80 picks by all teams. So XFL.com, go check out the rookie draft class results, and you can get all the information that we may not touch on today directly from the website itself. Also, USFL last week, it's huge. It's win or go home for all the teams in the North Division. So it's going to be huge. We're going to be diving into that as well. And we got some NFL news. Obviously, Saquon Barkley's not happy. He didn't sign that franchise tag, so we'll dive into that, as well as we're going to talk about who should be the 49ers quarterback, Trey Lance or Brock Purdy. We'll get into that later on as well. Welcome in, Hit. Welcome in, Carly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome in, everybody on Facebook as well. Appreciate you guys being here. And also, like I said, if you guys go to the X Fan Show on Facebook, you can check out their live. Make sure you drop their channel a follow on, or excuse me, their YouTube channel a subscribe, and make sure you follow them on all social platforms as far as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the whole nine. So, without further ado, let's bring these boys in and let's get into it, man.
Oh, are
What's
we
going
live?
on? Yes,
How are
sir.
you
We're
doing?
here.
What's up, sir? Jersey the
What's
King.
going
We
on,
here,
y'all?
man.
Hold
We
on,
here, baby.
Finally got him
Arlington.
here, man. Dirty.
I
A
gotta
Train.
apologize to you. Well, so is it Jeezy or is it Jersey?
It's
'Cause I can't.
Jersey, like the state,
Okay,
but with a Z, and then
okay.
I
the
treat
'Cause
his
with an
name
A.
like it's nothing.
right, I can't read very well. I can't read very well. That's why you saw Ricky Pearl.
Bro, it was so funny watching the show the other day with Coach Prol on. It was so funny watching the show the other day.
But I mean, you see
He
Arlington.
kept saying Jeezy, and I just ran with it. I just
Right.
ran with it.
I
Help
mean, look,
us all.
you see my sidekick. He's being unprofessional. He's not repping Vegas stuff. Look, Dirty's repping.
No, I repped the brand. Is
Hey.
what I did. I repped the brand. What about you?
And look, guys, look, A Train is a brand repper of the X Fan Show. And
Thank
if you
you.
see in the background, he's a Houston Roughneck. So,
Thank you.
hey, he's repping this team, y'all. As y'all see me, Fan Gang.
That's right. Fan gang, man. That's
We'll
what
be
you're
back
supposed to
next
do,
year.
man.
We'll be back next year. We got Crybaby Woodson out of there, man. So, guys, man, it's so good to have you guys. Hey, he's a horrible coach. I'm sorry. Rod Woodson should have started as an assistant or like a defensive backs coach somewhere. He should have got his feet wet. He should have been able to, learn how to be a coach before getting a head coach job right away, because he couldn't cut it. I'm sorry. You're crying on the sideline.
Well, I think here's the thing, and I know that me and Arlington have talked to nausea with our show. I think what it is this has been the league of opportunity so far, what we've seen with the XFL. So they were giving these new rookie head coaches an opportunity, right? And I was really hopeful for Woodson because I loved Rod Woodson. We met him in Vegas.
Mhm.
I just think that. I mean, can we cuss on this show, or are we not allowed to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I think he shit the bed. I really do think he shit the bed and just got all huffy puffy, got into his feelings, because that's what happens when you get up in age. I mean, Arlington's getting up there in age, and he likes to get all in his feelings every now and then on the show when he gets mad at me.
And
You're
when
older
your
than
offensive
me.
coordinator and your defensive coordinator for
You're older than me, dude.
I love you, buddy. I love you.
You older than me, and you talking about I get in my feelings.
What's going on, Platinum? Welcome in, bro. But yeah, man, I feel that Rod Woodson, when you're blaming your coordinators, when you're blaming your offensive coordinators and your defensive coordinators, and you're not taking the blame for decisions that you made as a head coach, I just feel he like you said, he shit the bed and he wasn't ready for that position. I mean, even with this being the league of opportunity, he didn't take advantage of the opportunity he was given.
No, not at all.
And I just feel he wasn't ready.
I swear, I thought Buckley was gone before Rod Woodson, man. Like I really thought that with the 1-9 season, and he had just as much frustration, but Rod Woodson, took that to heart just a little bit too much. And I know he was doing that for his team. Good. I'm granted that that's what you're supposed to do as a coach. Supposed to be there for your team. And so
Right.
when just weird, man. It's just weird to me, man. That's all.
I
To
like
all
that.
of us.
It is.
I like.
It is.
Listen, I don't know. I think I'm older than both of these guys, and yes, I am a grumpier old man. I'm not going to lie. I am grumpy. I mean, I'm 46. I've gotten grumpy in my old age. I have to deal with the hyena on Wednesday nights, and she's a pain in the ass. And then somehow Arlington's put up with me for 5 years, and I don't know how. So yes, I am. I'm not gonna lie.
I have. And here we are. We still here.
We're still kicking.
Now, let's go back into a little bit of X Fan Show history. How did you guys get started?
Do you want me to do it, or you want to talk about it?
Really, where do we start at? I'll start, and then Arlington, you can take over. We were
I'll clean it up.
right. We started broadcasting. I'd been doing video casting probably since 2009. I just saw that was the way it was going. People still listen to podcasts. Don't get me wrong. Podcasts are still are still huge, but video casting is started to get bigger and bigger. And I saw that way back in 2009. And then I had this one show called the DCS show. I still talk to my boy Damien. I still talk to my girl Seabiscuit. And then we were at what was it? Hot Talk Radio, right? Arlington and there in Ferguson, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had one guy bring us all together, and I was doing another show called One Universal where we talked a lot of political issues from the white perspective and the black perspective, and just to kind of show everybody how everybody can get along and how we're all the same. And then my co-host Linda said, you and Arlington should really do a show together. So I would help Arlington produce his show, show him how to do the video stuff and all that. And then XFL came up. First person I called, Arlington. Arlington, take it from there.
He called me up, man, and I was like, you know what? Hey, I want to do a show. If St. Louis is doing the getting in the XFL, we should do a show together. I was like, I don't know, man. At the time, I was going through some personal stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to. I really don't want to do this. I got something going on right now, but I actually rejected him like twice, maybe 3 times, twice.
5.
You're lying. It was like twice. And so
5.
I was like, because I wasn't sure. And then as soon as my personal stuff simmered down and it slowed down, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go. And what was that? 2019. I remember watching the announcement in December of 2018. I was actually being as a substitute teacher, and I remember seeing the announcement. I was like, "Oh my God! If St. Louis get an XFL team, that'll be freaking great." Because they missed out on the Alliance of American Football, and I was like, "Here we are." So like, let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm curious to see what's going on. And then in 2019, what was it? April, we started doing the show.
Well,
April.
Okay. So it was we once they announced in December of 2018, we did a couple test shows. So we did the first test show, I think it was in January, and it got hit. So we're like, okay, let's go 3 or 4 weeks because we weren't talking about anything. And then we really didn't kick off going full time where it was weekly. What was it? I think it was April or March of 2019. And 5 years later, here we are. I mean, you love us or hate us. We are the most imitated
Here.
show and most duplicated show about the XFL, whether anybody wants to say it or not. I think that's really what it was, right, Arlington?
Like you
because
said,
we knew the league wouldn't talk about St. Louis wouldn't talk about it, and we proved them wrong. And I remember
Exactly.
when we finally got to sit down with the brass and we showed them our numbers, they're like, "What have you guys talked about 6 weeks?" Arlington, why don't you tell them what you said, and then I'll tell them what I said.
Oh, I said we were just talking about, what we wanted to see in the league and this, that, and the third. We wanted to, what we wanted to see when the league came out. Like what type of league Vince was preaching. It's all about the fans. It's all about the game. This ain't political stances. I mean, that's kind of where we were
the
at.
gimmick out.
Right. The gimmick was gone. Okay. So Dirty wants to say how he spun it. Because he spun it very differently.
I did. I'm a sales guy. So the guy's sitting there and he's trying to sell me. And I'm like, look, dude, you're a sales guy. I'm a sales guy. We ain't talking bullshit. I go, here's what we've done.
Right.
For 6 months, we've talked nothing but bullshit. And those are our numbers. And then they were just like, okay. And then so that's when we had the working relationship with somewhat working relationship, thanks to Brian. I mean, my little dog, Scully. Who, I just had to kick him because he hit on the rug.
Do we actually get to tell that story, or we can't?
Bro,
this is free game.
It's his show. It ain't mine.
We're on the internet.
I ain't finna do that.
We're on the internet.
I know we are on the internet, but people be watching. People be watching no matter what, man. People be watching, okay?
We get in trouble sometimes.
It's either gonna blow the show up. It's either gonna blow the show up or blow the show up.
All right, well, okay, screw it. I'll say here's how it works, right? We've been building this. We built the official St. Louis Battlehawk page. Help that. We built the other St. Louis Battlehawk page where unfortunately the standing pooping up was from our show.
From us.
Came from
yes.
Not the Riz show, but hey, Riz, I still love you, buddy. Take all the credit you want. I mean, rest in peace, Jeff. Rest in peace, Jess Burton. Tony Patrico, you're a piece of trash. Quit sending D pictures to women, but that's beside the point. Whatever.
Underage women at that.
Right, underage women. Bum, loser. Kill yourself. Jump off a bridge. Jump off the JB.
Wow,
that's here in St. Louis.
Yeah,
anyway,
this is on the daily.
Now you got me going, Jersey. Now you got me going because you got me all fired up with this shit. So we built this thing in here in St. Louis. And I'll admit, in 2020, we wanted to be the only show. And if there was anybody else that would come out with an XFL show or come out with a Battlehawk show, I would go on the attack. I mean, I literally I would go
all
out
the time. All the time.
Destroy people. I mean, I did a 30-minute promo on a 17-year-old kid and eviscerated him because he said he was the first podcast. So yes, I was a piece of trash. I admit that. But we were told by my dog Stully. Told by my dog Stully, who just crapped on the rug again, who I'm gonna have to kick. I don't really kick animals, just saying. That we weren't big enough. We were small potatoes. 5 years down the line, we ain't so small potatoes. You saw what we did
at all.
What we've done in St. Louis. You saw what we did in Houston. You saw what we've done everywhere else. You saw what we did at the championship game. We finally got our credit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's really how it all started because we are looked as, this type of format is looked as basement dwellers. We're basement broadcasters. Get over it. This is the new way of broadcasting. This is the new way of the future.
This is the wave.
So get over it.
As long as you're not talking complete asinine crap like what most broadcasters do, and you kind of keep it real. And it's all about, when we talk ex-fans, we talk from a fan standpoint. We want to know and see what we want to see or what we want to hear. So when we talked about putting a fan show together, we wanted to make sure we tapped in every XFL fan, not just St. Louis, because we already knew.
Right.
We knew St. Louis was going to get tapped instantly. It was no other way
because
to look
of the
at
market.
It. Exactly. And then we were very, very
St.
happy
Louis was
when
missing a team.
Exactly. And then Orlando dropped in. I mean, well, the first time, all the other cities had NFL squads, right? And we look at this new incarnation now,
Mhm.
with Orlando, San Antonio being in the mix now, and Vegas, right? So these three
Back in
new
the mix.
cities, right? And they came from different leagues, and now they're coming into the XFL now because it's perfect timing for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Four cities that don't. Well, Vegas has an NFL team. San Antonio had some love with the Saints, and that they chose not to pursue because
Right.
of other cities like Dallas and Houston. They all wanted to corner those markets, right? So
Exactly.
then also, so San Antonio always wanted pro football, right? Orlando always wanted pro football, and of course St. Louis. So that's
Hmm.
you got three cities right there with no NFL ties, and it just made sense to have them in those cities going into this current iteration. And I'm glad. One of the main things I'm glad about is that we actually got a full season off the ground.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm happy about.
We made history. The XFL made history. I keep saying it every week. The XFL made history. No one looks at it that way. They want to talk about, oh, well, they lost this amount of money, or it didn't do this, it didn't do that. But we did. We got a second season coming. You can go get tickets right
Mm-hmm.
now. You can go get tickets right now for XFL games next season. We made a
And
successful season happen, and that's all that The Rock and Danny Garcia and Jerry Cardinale wanted to do, because now they get to take this off season and fix all the bugs. Look, they cut 20 of their marketing team because guess what? Their marketing was shit. Let's just
well,
keep
I
it
know.
where and say what it was. The
No, you're
marketing
right.
was
You're right.
crap. No,
Yeah, Jersey, you want to talk about? You want to talk about?
when you don't attack local markets with the media, hey, let's go get a media agreement with the local news stations so the news stations are coming to these games and covering it. They're giving more. I feel if they give more local attention to the league itself, more fans will attend these games. 6,000 people at Cashman. Come on, bro.
Hold on.
I was so
So
disappointed.
I'm gonna give Vegas a lot of credit, and I'm gonna give Aaron in Vegas a lot of credit. I know a lot of people have shit on Vegas and Cashman Field, but I will tell you
They
this.
did.
I will tell you this right now, and I know for a fact because I had personal conversations with Aaron, who the guy who is your guys' director of ticketing and stuff. That dude had 4 weeks to do all of that when he
Yeah.
was in Vegas. And I'm telling you right now, I'd been to I don't know how many games. Vegas was the funnest I had all year. Funnest fan experience I had all year was at Cashman Field. I mean, there was not one bad seat in that entire place. You could see the game anywhere unless you were in the bathroom. That was it. And
Yeah.
when you talk about that they lost $60 million and all that stuff, let's really look at that. Okay, so take away the 30 that they paid for the league and the other debt that they bought, right? So take that away.
Right.
Now let's look at you got to buy the equipment up front, right? You got to pay for your leases. They paid 50 grand for 5 years in Vegas in Cashman Field. To use that for 5 years, 50 grand, right?
Yep.
Now a lot of the people that they got rid of were all seasonal employees. A lot of the people they got rid of were seasonal employees. Now, so did they
And a lot of
really,
people don't know that.
right? Did they really lose 60 grand? Because we don't know what the TV revenue was. We don't know what TV revenue was. We
Your
don't know
dirty
what
math is trash. Hey, lady, who is that?
that's his wife. That's his woman.
That's my
Hey,
wife.
man. Hey, we making
That's my wife.
cameos up in this joint, man.
Arlington loves to
Yeah,
talk about my dirty
she
math.
makes cameos a lot. She makes cameos a lot. She's a San Francisco 49er fan, so you
Ugh.
see
Woo,
I
bless
got
her
my
heart.
Dallas Cowboys
Bless
stuff
her
in the
heart.
background.
Bless her heart.
Well, I don't know
We're
what's worse.
look,
I don't know how to look.
He pulled it out. He pulled it out.
No offense.
house divided, bro.
I think I'd much rather be a 49ers fan than a Cowboys fan.
Bless y'all hearts, man.
No
Bless y'all
offense.
heart.
But I will give you this. You do got the Mandalorian behind you, so I'll give you credit there. That makes you a good guy.
Jersey ready to kick you off the show, sir.
No, because no, this is my thing. And I try to tell everybody, my boy Hit, he's a mod in my stream. He gives me crap all the time about my Cowboys, and he lives in Texas, but he hates the Cowboys. He gives me crap. But I'm one of those Cowboy fans who keeps it so real. Every year is not our year. I say this all the time. It's not. And people look at me and they're like, Are you serious? We're America's team. I don't give a damn. Dak's not the
Hey,
answer. He needs to
keep
be
it real,
traded
man.
or something.
Dak definitely needs to go somewhere. Here's my question though: when was the last time that the Dallas had a championship?
When cocaine was in the locker room.
No, that was in '95.
Wow.
They just had one. They just had one. They're the XFL champs, the Arlington Renegades.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
you're right. You're right
I'm
about
just
that.
saying.
I mean,
Just
the
saying.
Cowboys are technically based out of Arlington.
That's
Let's
true.
not lie.
But no, so I mean, that's what it is with the XFL. We don't know how much money we lost. We only saw how they spent it. That we only saw how they
we don't,
the whole
as
split.
fans, we don't care because we're getting a second season. So at the end of the day, those losses means nothing if it
Exactly.
doesn't show up
Because you
next
gotta
season.
spend money to make money. You have to.
Exactly.
There you go.
You gotta spend money
And
to
you
make
had
money.
to,
If
and
that's
people
the
have to
that's-
realize you're covering someone else's debt.
exactly. And but that was the thing about it when they covered this story and saying that $60 million was a huge loss, and that they start bringing up all the Rock's other failures and things like that, which I don't even think was truly big failures. But my thing is, they brought them up because they want to. The people, media want to see the XFL fail. They want to see it die. Like, why do we have it here? And if you even remember remotely from 2020, they were trying to go so political with the XFL. They were trying to get conservatives to say,
Super political.
I need everybody to join the XFL. Look at what the NFL is doing. That was the ploy, believe it or not, with Vince McMahon. That's silent, but that's how they wanted to portray it. Case in point, think of the red, white, and blue colors that they had with the XFL. And see, now what they try to do is detract all of that away and just say, hey, we're focusing on just the game itself. We want to make sure that the game is great. And I guarantee you, if you watch any game this season, there had to be at least 75 to 80% of great games where each game where it was within one score. So that's what the cool thing about this league was.
Arlington, if you remember, we did the math.
And then the overtime games were even.
Exactly. Out of the 40 games, I'm going to elaborate on more what Arlington said about the 80 to 75 to 80%. We did the math one day, and it wasn't dirty math. This was actual math. We actually pulled up the schedule and showed the scores. Out of 40 games, there was 33 games that were won by one possession or more. One possession.
So that's 83% right there off the cuff.
Wow.
So because you get 9 points. So 83% of these games were won by one possession. I mean, what more can you ask for as a sport?
That just shows you the competition.
You know, I mean, what can you
know what I mean? It just shows you the competition that the XFL produced this year. Let's be honest. Look how many players got invites, and look how many of those invites turned into being to sign contracts.
Yeah. I mean, you looked at it. I think Arlington, we did it right. It was like 60, what was it, 65 players that got
invited, and they have almost 30 signed contracts.
They have close to 30 players that are signed. I mean, look at Seattle, for example. Look at the Sea Dragons. You know, I mean, Arlington hates it. The Hyena hates it. Daddy Ed hates it. I talk about it. Look at Seattle. Their entire quarterback room got signed to a team. I mean, Ben DeNueso got signed.
Yeah, it did.
The Broncos. Jay Peasy, in my opinion, is the best receiver that was in the game. Little Jay Peasy.
Yep.
He's getting
Jay
ready.
Peasy's my dude.
Yeah. So the competition was out there, and it looked great. I mean, look, Jordan Ta'amu just signed with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
You had Kobe
Kirk
Smith.
Cousins, look out.
Don't say, hey.
I'm just saying, he played. Let's be real. Can I cut you off for just 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Compare Jordan Ta'amu and his season this season compared to Kirk Cousins' season last season.
Okay, come on, man. Listen, I get it. I get it. I get where you're coming from with this. And you got to understand, it's just 10 games. And Jordan made a lot more smarter throws because of his offensive coordinator, Fred Koss.
Mhm.
Fred Koss is an HBCU coach. And what I mean, even for a white guy, the
Mhm.
dude had one of the most prolific offenses, in the XFL, and he showcased as an offensive coordinator that we can be very deceptive
Yeah.
on the ball, whether it became running or whether it was passing. It was hard to stop, and it was just amazing to me how the Renegades was able to kind of cut it down just a little bit, was able to get pressure on Jordan Teamu the second time around when they had Luis Perez.
Mhm.
Was the coolest thing is that the first time was just kind of a setup. It's
Yep.
like if we
It
can get
definitely
here,
was.
if we get to the championship game again, because I'm telling you, everybody
We
that
can
talked
beat you.
trash about the 4-6, about that 4-6 team, and I said this on the X Fan show.
Mhm.
That's bulletin board material
Mhm.
for Bob Stoops to tell everybody to
Exactly.
shut them the hell up when we get to the championship game, and they
Yep.
proved it. So it just lets you know right then and there. Even when they played against Houston, it was just window dressing. But when they
Yeah.
played them again, so you got to remember the last two
The
three
next week.
opponents were the two teams that they played in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yep.
And elaborate on
Exactly
all
was.
Arlington said is I mean, I was a big defector of Luis Perez. And Arlington's like, dirty. No, let's look at this. And Arlington broke it down and said it that Luis might be the smartest spring football quarterback there is. I mean, look what he did in
He's
the
a
USFL.
legend in the spring
Yeah,
leagues.
right. Look what he did in the USFL. Look what he did in the XFL. Vegas didn't fit his system. So what did they do? They shipped his ass off to Arlington. And when Arlington broke it down for me, I'm like, damn, dude,
Yep.
you're right. He really is. And we had said, we're like, okay, now let's imagine if he was there earlier in Arlington. That would have been a totally different team. That would have been a team that was 4 and
Arlington would have
6.
been a totally different team. Yep.
Totally
And
Probably
different.
I
they
said it
would have
myself,
won the
even as a
division.
Vipers fan. Yeah. I said it myself, even as a Vipers fan. Rod Woodson was not the coach. Rod Woodson
Mm-mm.
and his coaching staff was not the coach for Luis Perez. You put him in a Bob Stoops coaching situation, and you're going to get the best version of this guy. And like we saw, as soon as he came to Arlington, what happened? Even in losses, the team looked so much better all around on
Well, I
offense
mean,
and on defense. And
yeah.
what beat DC in in the championship game? I don't care how nobody else looks at it. In my opinion, Greg Greg Williams lost in that game. When you're sitting here running a cover
Ooh.
O and you're blitzing on every other down, and the only two defensive schemes you're running is either we're blitzing, an all-out blitz, or we're running a cover zero, who's not going to catch on? Bob Stoops isn't going to catch on to that. Come on now. Bob Stoops isn't going to. We're talking about Bob Stoops. He's one of the greatest coaches, whether it be on the NCAA level, NFL level, spring league level, whatever level it is. He's one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. And you don't think he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be smart enough to catch on to your same old scheme? Oh, it's working for other coaches like Hines Ward or Rod Woodson or Terrell Buckley or some of these newer coaches who ain't too hip to the game to say, hold on, you're not doing nothing else but these two different schemes. Okay, I know what to
Yeah.
do.
Well,
We're going to shut all
okay.
this down.
You say that, but let's not really look at it. I mean, Arlington, we saw Coach Hayes. We saw Coach Hayes when he was with the Battlehawks here in 2020. And when it came to all out blitzes or cover O blitzes, he ate it alive. He ate it alive with his offense.
Mm-hmm.
With his offense. But he had Jordan Tamu. This time he had a different quarterback in Luis Perez that was more of that could run if he needed to, but had the quick release passes. And look, I mean, I had said it. DC is going to run over Arlington, but they didn't. I mean,
You had missed it. You missed it from the first encounter that they had. They only lost by 2
yep.
points. And then they lost in overtime at that. So you had to remember they were
Yep.
able to keep up with DC. And because only lose by a couple of points, you knew if they got another chance, Arlington was
Yep.
going to beat DC.
Mhm.
because
Yep.
they already knew what the game plan was when it came down to the championship game. Look at the many times that Jordan Ta'amu had turnovers and he was sacked during the game. So that lets you know right there is
Yeah.
that when you look at the Arlington Renegades and you look at their coaches, Bob Stoops, John Hayes, Jay Hayes, uh, Tim Lewis, these guys all know each other from in some shape, form, or
Yeah.
fashion, in some capacity. They knew what to do. And Luis
Exactly.
Perez was the perfect quarterback for the Renegades, is what
Mhm.
we saw. Could you imagine 2020 Dirty if they had Luis Perez with the Battlehawks?
I mean, that would have been a different
Man.
thing. It would have
He's
been
a
a
field general. Let's
But
keep
that's
it
what they were
real.
trying to
Luis
get
Perez
with
is a
Jordan
field
Ta'amu in
general.
20.
Mhm.
Exactly. And what you
Yeah.
saw this year was what Jordan Ta'amu should be
I got you, Mike. Hold
with.
on.
Oh,
Go ahead.
everything okay? Oh, everything with Jordan Ta'amu.
No, it's a viewer. I
Uh,
was going to highlight his message for him.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jordan Ta'amu had the great offensive coordinator with him, right? And then you had with Luis Perez, you had John Hayes, who field general, right? So that was the main
Yep.
thing with it, and you saw the best of the both of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what the cool thing
And
about that whole season was.
Jordan Ta'amu was able to actually be himself as far as the quarterback position. He's a mobile quarterback. Let him be mobile. He can stretch the pocket and make plays outside the numbers just because he's mobile. So let him
Mhm.
scramble if he has to. That whole De'Aaron King and Jordan Ta'amu duo this whole season was just crucial against some of
Wow.
these defenses. And it was
Right.
like, how do we stop it? You know what I mean?
Right.
These
Mhm.
guys were able to use their feet as well as their arm. They were able to make more decisions. When it was like, okay, we got Peyton Manning on the field, type of deal. Hey, call what you see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make the choices off of what you see. Oma,
Well,
Oma, Oma. Just imagine
yeah,
hearing
let's
that. You
not
know what I
forget
mean?
with the DC
So
team, though. Let's not forget with DC, they had Abram Smith too. So you
true. So
have
it's like a
Derek
three-headed monster.
Jordan, yeah, you have Jordan Ta'amu, who are both mobile quarterbacks that can run if they need to, and then here you throw in Abram Smith at you. So I mean, and you saw what the Renegades did is they said, okay, we're gonna pack the box, we're gonna stop the running, we're gonna make them beat them with their arm. And listen, as much as I love Jordan
Right.
and as much as Arlington and Daddy Ed and all the fans, the hyena give me trouble about my man crush on Jordan Ta'amu. We've seen once Jordan gets under pressure, his passes aren't that accurate. That's the
Yep.
one thing
Right.
that he's got to work on. And as
And
much
that
look,
was
as much as I
yeah.
love Jordan, as much as I love him, that's his one thing. And that's what if he works on that even more, I mean, there's no telling where
Yeah.
this kid can go. I mean, you really look at the XFL and look at the quarterbacks that are coming that were in the XFL. Again, with Jordan, to Amu, or Jordan, AJ, Ben with Danucci. I
PJ
mean,
Walker,
PJ Walker, but I'm
Tyler
talking about
Heineke.
this season alone. When we asked
True.
Ricky Prohl about it, we asked Coach Prohl about it. He goes, there was not one quarterback this season that couldn't be a player in the NFL. Maybe not a starter, but could be a player in the NFL if the
And he's
scheme is
not
right.
lying.
And he's not.
Yep.
And if you really
The
looked
scheme
at
has
it,
to be right though.
Mm-hmm.
if you really looked at it, both teams, granted, DC started from the get go. They looked like that they were in control of their destiny because they had great offensive line. We did not really discuss. Granted, Arlington started having that as the season progressed. You had to remember some of these teams were all just coming together, and you didn't know how the season was going to
Yep.
turn up. And that's what kind of ticked me off with people complaining about teams with a 4-6 record making the playoffs. Everybody was on the same level, same level. Nobody knew what everybody was going to do.
And you
And
gotta
I
imagine.
understand the frustration with the 7-3 record not making the playoffs. Do your job. You don't even have to worry about it. Let somebody else complain about it.
Exactly. Exactly. And my thing is, I told everybody at the beginning of the season in the first few weeks, you guys have to imagine these teams had maybe 5 weeks of training camp before
Mm-hmm.
the season started.
Mm-hmm.
So they were basically finishing up training camp in the middle of the daggone season or in the beginning of the season. We couldn't really say anything about the season until game or week 5. Because I say about week 4, okay, training camp's over. You know what I mean? Now we're gonna see a difference of this start of the next season because now they get a full off season. Now they're gonna get mini camp, training camp. They're gonna get a full off season to become a well-oiled machine, individual team wise. You know what I mean? These teams are gonna have time to practice with
Exactly.
each other and the whole nine. So it's gonna be totally different than what it was rebooting the league and only a short amount of time to get ready for a season. So the whole complaining,
And
oh,
that was
four
the
and six
main
team made
thing.
it, oh, but the St. Louis Battlehawks didn't. If St. Louis would have did their job, St. Louis would have been in there. If they would have beat Seattle when they should have, they would have been in there. It's
There
just
you
what it
go. Week
is
9.
at the end of the day.
Week 9. And then here he comes. The man with the swag, baby. The Nooch. The Nooch did it. The Nooch. Silas Kelly
But
nooched him, knocked his ass
And he
out.
came in here and he did his thing.
hey, but here's my thing with the season, man, is that we saw 4 rookie head coaches. One of them had a winning record. All right. And because we never thought coach we knew we thought what dirty coach Beck 5-5 with the St. Louis Battlehawks, right?
The Battlehawks should have lost their first 2 games. Plain and simple. They should have lost
Yeah.
this game, but they got lucky, right?
That
They
2-minute
Yes.
comeback, oh my God. That 2-minute comeback was, I think, one of the
were
most epic things of the entire season.
We were
To
there
be
for
honest,
that.
I'm
And then the
keep it
Seattle
real.
comeback.
It was one of the most epic things
It was. So they should have been 5
against
and
Vegas.
5, okay?
That was oh God. That was heartbreaking. That was hard. That
Hey, listen, Vegas
Josh
was giving them
Gordon.
a run. I mean,
Josh
but look,
Gordon.
I mean,
The thing that pissed me off about Vegas this season is we had so many games where we were up the entire first half we don't finish. That's what killed us the whole season. I'm sorry. There were so many
You
games where
stop running
we
the
were up.
ball, man. You stop running the ball, man. Stop running the ball.
I mean,
Stop running the
What the hell
ball.
is Rod
I'm
Woodson
like, come
doing?
on.
That's what bro.
you can only have
That was the point
Okay.
of having Rod Smith back there.
That's my thing. One of our viewers, Mike Tackett, says food for thought. And I want to know you guys' thoughts. The XFL draft should happen after the NFL's final cut day. And he says teams would know
Ooh,
who's
that's a
returning
lot.
that didn't make a team, because we all know not every XFL player who's signed will make a team. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that would help the XFL?
I think that's
as
what they're
far
gonna
as getting
do.
these players known?
Arlington, you want me to go first? Because I'll give Jersey the King. I'll give you a dirty speculation on your show if you want. If you want,
Do your thing. That's what you're here for.
The dirty speculation, right? Here's how I think with the XFL draft. I get why they did the rookie draft, right? Okay. I honestly think look, I'm speculating. I don't know 100%. Wink, wink. I'm speculating there will be a draft after the NFL cuts. That's my speculation, that there will be another XFL draft after cuts. Now, what Mike says with with players returning to their teams, we do know that is going to happen. Is that the players that signed with the next NFL team got an invite? It is in their contract that their contract would be null and void if they get picked up by the team. If not, then they retain that NFL team retains the rights. So that I think it's great.
They have that out till December 26th, right? They have that
Something
out
like
until December 26th.
But that's my speculation that there's going to be another draft.
I mean, you got to keep having drafts. Come on now, are you kidding me? Like, you're not going, because not everybody's going to be retained. People are going to walk away from the game. They're talking about, I'm done playing football, as we've seen with a couple of Arlington Renegade players. Shout out to my guy Kenneth Farrell.
Yeah.
I'm happy that he was able to get a championship before he walked away from the game. He had said he was walking away, and so I know he had some kind of, I can't think of what kind of surgery that he had, but he was like, I'm done with football. I'm going back to, my regular life. And, he had an opportunity and a chance to go and do his thing. And so with that, you got to plug in more players. You know what I mean? And I think the other thing should be that mini camp should start just a little bit earlier. If you're doing everything in Arlington, Texas, you need to go ahead and do it a little earlier. So November, maybe December, go ahead and get that mini cap started. So that way, when January roll around, we can get a little preseason.
Look,
A little bit,
that's how
just
I
a couple of
feel. But
games.
they're talking about doing mini camps and training camps in the respective cities this year.
Yeah, but here's the
Okay,
question.
From
cool.
what The Rock and Danny are talking about,
But
and I think that's amazing. That would be great.
I think it's great, but let's really look at it. How is that going to work? Okay, I get again. That's going to go back to that $60 million that they lost, right? I mean, look, if you saw it, they reported that they're going to make $100 million this year. Okay, now in that hub city, they get the deals on the hotels and the flights and all that stuff. Now you put them in their home cities. Now you got to pay for that hotel. You got to pay for that transportation. You got to pay for that.
Why? Why?
Well, you're just gonna so in Vegas, let's say that they're gonna let them use
These
Bishop
players
Gordon
have money now. You better rent you a frick for the summer.
Now listen. I get where y'all coming from. I get where you coming from, and I get where he's coming from. He's saying save your money is basically save as much money as possible. If you keep talking about 60 million, you're losing $60 million. But here's my thing: you got to spend money to make money. You got to change the landscape just a little bit. Change the landscape. All right. The marketing thing, y'all cut the ties with that, right? TV deal is already taken care of. You ain't got no problem with that. You're not gonna have a lot of players being removed from XFL teams. So hey, you're gonna retain majority of them for season 2. Right. So now you have that, and then you got to insert a new coach, right, in Vegas. Which let me ask you, sir. Let me ask you, Jersey. Now that Rob Wilson is gone, I'm gonna give you a realistic one and then your fantasy one. Who would you like to see as the coach of the Vegas Vipers?
Okay.
Realistically.
Jonathan Hayes.
Oh,
fantasy. Are you saying this because of me?
Are you saying this because of me? No, I agree with you. I really think I fully 100% agree with you. Like I was saying on the show on you guys' show the other day, he is the perfect person for the Vipers. For the way our team is set up, Jalen McClendon is going to be a force to be reckoned with next year as the starting quarterback for the Vipers. I feel that he's gotten his feet wet. He knows the system and what we're going to be going into next year. He has a chance to learn a new system with the new head coach coming in. If there is a new system, however it's going to work, I just feel that Jonathan Hayes is the right guy. Anybody else, it's going to be hard. You got to sell me like you're going to try and sell these players. I got to buy into what you're selling.
All right, here.
If it's not Jonathan Hayes. That's just my opinion.
I still like AJ Smith out of Houston because look what he did with Cole McDonald.
Okay, yeah.
Look what he did with Cole McDonald. Think about what he can do with Jalen. Look what he did with Cole McDonald. Look like what he could do with Jalen, right? But we've said
what he did.
But bring in Jonathan Hayes. Bring in Jonathan Hayes as the head coach, and bring in AJ Smith as our. I know it's not going to happen. Houston's not going to give up AJ as a coordinator at all. So he would have to come in. He's either going to have to get a bigger contract, or as far as more money, or something's got to happen as far as him being either a head coach. The only way he's going to leave Houston is money or a head coach position.
This guy's really
that's the only way AJ's leaving.
Really
AJ ain't going.
Right. Look, hold on. Like the stream
AJ's
or
not going nowhere.
SpongeBob tattoo. Wow, on your ass.
Hey, wait a minute, no. But AJ Smith does not make sense.
That sounds like a dumb tattoo on my ass. Jesus.
It just don't make sense. It don't make sense for for Vegas, man. Because if you really looked at AJ Smith and the scheme that he had, everything was built for Brandon Silvers. If you remember that game against the Hawks, that was Brandon Silver's game for Cole McDonald. He wasn't quite ready for that because they didn't let him run a lot at all. Nope. So that was the difference. They used Cole McDonald to be set up for just spot plays. When Brandon Silvers did not play in that game, they had to go Cole, all right, Cole, you got to use Brandon Silver's playbook in this case. We have nothing really for you. All the plays that we wanted to use for you, we can't really utilize them because now you have to throw the ball.
Mhm.
So if you really look at it,
Mhm.
did it really benefit Cole McDonald? That's why I look at John Hayes. John Hayes like field generals, and he likes
Yeah.
blockers. He's big on
Yeah.
blockers, running,
Yep.
and field generals. That's what they tried to make Jordan Teamu in 2020, a field general, right?
Mhm.
And you saw in 2023 what he did. He's like, no, I gotta pass the ball and I gotta run the ball. I gotta get it out of my hands quickly.
Yep.
And
But
so I can move the ball
that
down the
made
field, but I
him
gotta do it my
somewhat of a
way.
field general.
In a way,
But
in
it
a way
made
they
him
did.
somewhat of a
And
field
see, in the
general if you look at it, because he was able to make better decisions. Right?
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
yeah.
And he did have a better offensive line too. I will say that. And the whole thing though with Teamu, and because we were saying about John Hayes would fit Vegas because he has a running back in Rod Smith. You got
Mhm.
Jalen McClendon, right? And so then you got Martavis Bryant, and then you bring Tim Lewis and
Right.
Jay Lewis over. Jay Hayes over. They can work with Vic Beasley.
And Jeff Badet and Jeff Badet.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean,
Come on now.
Vegas actually has a very talented team, so it's going to be interesting to see who they plug in there. You know, like we were talking about it the other day, and Leo from Smoky. Can we give a cheap plug to another X-Fan Legion member? Can we?
Yes, of
So,
course.
you know, on Monday night,
Yes, we network around here.
I'm just making sure.
We network around here.
Making sure. You know, on a Monday night, go check out the Smoky Guns podcast with Phil, Leo, and RC. Leo had said, you put Jonathan Hayes, you're moving him from room 218 to room 118. It's that simple. I mean, I don't think
Exactly.
they're going to bring anybody into the XFL because they already have the coaches in place. And I mean, it just makes sense with Coach Hayes because what other team has two offensive coordinators?
Yeah,
None.
And
Just
I still think they'll be fine with Chuck Long. That
true.
or Arlington would be good with Chuck Long as their
Arlington.
offensive coordinator, man.
I guess can we talk about that? Can we?
Because if he continues to follow Hayes's playbook, hey, why not?
Right.
Well, they were
Arlington,
working together, so
yeah, Arlington.
But that's what I mean. You just continue doing what you were doing just without Hayes there.
Right. Can we kind of, I guess it's over now, Arlington, right? The season's over, so we can kind of talk about something that we know about Vegas, right?
what about the A's?
No.
I'd love
No.
the insight.
No. No. Let's put it like
Because I'll be at all the home games next year for the Vipers.
let's put it.
That's a bet.
Put it like
That's a
this.
for sure. I'll be at all the home games. I got my interview and everything ready to go. My tripod.
Oh
It's
man,
all in my
that's
bag
awesome,
ready
man. Hey,
for next
I like it.
season.
I like it a lot, man.
You know,
I like it a lot.
be out there trying to get some interviews and all that
There
good
you go.
stuff. Because it won't be hard on Cashman. It won't be hard.
No, it won't. Just go. When you go find Aaron and tell him that you know Dirty from over here, and he'll hook you up. But I honestly look with the Jonathan Hayes or with the Rod Woodson thing. I don't think he wanted to be there from the get-go. I have a feeling that
He didn't.
I have a feeling that he might have wanted to leave before the season even started. That's just
Next is welcome in.
my speculation. I don't know.
And I agree, because you can tell from week one. Rod Woodson on that side getting gray hairs from the day he stepped out. From week one, he got 105 more gray hairs by the end of the first quarter.
Not just that. Let's really look at it. You go and look at anything that was put on ESPN Plus about the XFL and the coaches. Did you ever see Rod Woodson? Did you ever see Rod Woodson featured in any of it?
No, even the one about Sean Price. No.
And
you saw him on the field. You saw him on the field coaching, on practice and all that, but nothing else.
When you did the coach roundtable, where was Rod Woodson?
Nowhere to be found.
So did he even really want to be there from the get-go? Or was he just talked into staying?
He was just there to be the face.
Wink, wink. That's all I'm saying.
He was the face. He was there to be the face. That's how I look at it. He was here to be the face and bring attention.
He did have gray hairs out the
to
womb.
our
He
league.
sure did.
Arlington, I'm already getting in
He
trouble.
do. Look now.
You are. I know you are.
Okay.
I know you're getting in trouble.
Oops.
I knew this already.
But
That's why I kept
agree.
looking crazy. Like,
I agree.
but here's my
But
thing,
it's
though.
the truth, though. You can just look at his face
Right,
every
yeah.
week.
You can look at it.
It's not. It wasn't hard to see that type of thing. Like, come on, man. Like,
He's
if
not-
you're gonna be here, be here. If you say you're gonna work with the players, work with the players. Now, if you don't want to be a part of this league, why did you waste your time from the get go?
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
It's going to be
That's
interesting
my
to see.
thing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Vegas. I mean, like I said, Vegas was one of my favorite teams. I mean, my second favorite fan base, we all know it was San Antonio, and just how we've been embraced in the San Antonio and stuff like that. It was really went through this whole entire season, and I know Arlington kind of feels the same. Is that how the fan base kind of embraced us? Where before we were looked more as the outcast in 2020, but then when me and Arlington decided we were going to take a different approach and go more about the entire league and how the entire fan bases in every other city embraced us, it was really kind of humbling at that. And, and to help build these fan bases and to help, do shows like yours and the Horns Forward, Smoking Guns, Standing Guards, and stuff like that. It was really good to see that the fan bases and these other shows started to come together to bring more eyes to this team, to this league.
Right.
And
the networking that you guys do with the Legion is just awesome work, man. I love the fact that you guys don't just stay so enclosed with just yourselves. You guys help, push other podcasters who are talking about the XFL.
Oh man, listen.
Well, A-Trade,
I look at it like
but
this,
that's
man.
the thing.
Mute his microphone, because I got to give my partner down there a lot of credit, because if it was for me, I would have just attacked everybody. It was this guy right here. He sat down, we had a talk, and he's like, "Look, bro, this is what I think we could do. This is what I think we should do." And I'm like, "Oh man, are you serious?" He's like, "Look, a softer dirty and a nicer dirty is going to be a much scarier dirty for everybody."
And he didn't even believe it.
That's what I want. And if it wasn't for this guy right here below me,
Look what he
kind
says.
of, kind of like,
this was his philosophy, guys.
Yeah, kind of.
This was his philosophy.
Kind of softened.
He said,
but
Dirty, you gotta show people you care, buddy.
Man, that's facts. That is facts.
You gotta show people you care.
Listen, if it wasn't for Arlington, if it wasn't for the Queen Hyena, I think the season would have been a lot different for us. And it was, me and Arlington had a lot of conversations leading up into the 2023 season. And I mean, I got to give credit to the people that I put around me: Arlington, Daddy Ed, the Hyena. They helped us. They helped me grow into a different type of broadcaster than I normally was in 2020. So
right.
We're still working on it.
Welcome.
We're still working on it.
In trouble.
We're still working on it. This fool gonna bring in. How you gonna have a cigarette in the middle of a panel show? Like,
Look, listen, Jersey.
But see, no. You good? No, Jersey, you good? This is your show. You do what you want to do. I'm talking about for us.
I just spoke of
your
cigar.
show. Hey, listen. You do that. You do that here. This is your show. But that's what I was tripping on. We was having a serious
I even smoke weed on my show.
This fool pulled a
I'm not doing
cigarette
it now, guys.
and he was hanging. Wait, no. Let me tell you something, Jersey, man. He pulled the cigarette out, had his hair all flopped and whatnot. I'm like, dude, are you freaking serious right now? And he was like, what? And he was like, come on, bro. Like, dude, this stuff. We have a conversation here. And he was like, I don't, whatever.
Man.
That's the thing though. But that's the good cop, bad cop that we've had, over these last 4 or 5 years, man. And it was just too funny to me. But we was having a whole conversation about the landscape of the XFL and stuff, and this folk come in with a cigarette. Are you serious, man?
Listen,
I'm like,
look,
dude.
I was having internet trouble, so I went out on my patio and I was out there broadcasting. It was a sunny day. I was drinking coffee, and I was like, "I'm drinking coffee. I'm having a
Screw it.
cigarette."
Screw
Right.
And he didn't. I don't think he even knew that he was doing it. He just did it. It just came out of nowhere when it happened.
Irritate you. I did it just to irritate you. I did it to irritate.
It worked. And I'm saying that's what I'm saying. There'll be a lot of times I have to look at him like I just got to, man. But that's okay though. That's my brother, man. And listen, I would.
But that's what makes y'all work. That's what makes y'all work. Like the other day when he kept pronouncing my name wrong, you were like, "It's Jersey," and you were like, "Oh my god."
Hey, if you really look at our show, Jersey, if you really look at our show, we like to compare ourselves a bit to Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser with Pardon the Interruption, like an XFL version of Pardon the Interruption, because the way that those two work with each other, and they've been doing it for the last 20 plus years, it's been amazing to me. And so, I never expected working with a guy that different, and it worked. Like, I just want to, if she's watching, thank you, Linda Brown. Like, seriously, Linda Brown, that name, he said it, brought us together.
Yeah.
And the good cop, bad cop, we converse every day, whether it's about the show or what stuff going on in life, man. Like, listen. He said Jersey to every chrome dome.
Are you bald? Are you bald?
Yeah, because
oh wow, yeah, you are.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Hey, sir, that's gonna be my Father's Day. I'm gonna I was supposed to do that before the show today, but I didn't have time. I'm not going to get into that.
Well, I lost all my hair due to alopecia, but I'm the chrome dome over here.
Oh man,
I'll give you some.
It's nothing, man.
Look here, hold on.
It's nothing.
You want some? I'll give you.
Are you pulling it off?
I'm the shabaldi over here. It's all right. I love it.
I thought you was pulling it.
I don't have to do much.
What do you think? I'm pulling my hair off?
See,
yes, I swear to God, I thought like you got a rug.
It works.
I swear I thought he had a rug on his head. I'm like, you never told me this, dude. I swear to God, you never told me you had a rug.
You've known me for 5 years. You sat in the studio with me. You sat in a car with me, and you think I have a rug? New Jersey, this is what I got to. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dirty with the X-Fan Show. I'm just letting you guys know. Please go to xfanshow.com or xfanshow@gmail.com. I am looking for a new co-host because my partner has been with me for 5 years and thought I had a rug.
Oh,
I'm
my
looking
God.
for a new co-host.
Jersey. Hey, yo, when you go back and you watch this clip, it's going to look like he's pulling the hair off the back of his head.
It did.
It
did, bro. I'm sorry.
Show@gmail.com. Please send your
I thought it was
auditions there, please, for new co-host.
I thought it was all the way off, just backwards.
No, wait till I have a bunch of people come on the show and they said, dude, did you have a rug? Hey, it looked like you had a rug in the back of your head, man. Listen, I'm sorry. No. It's okay, sir. All right, we good, man. I'm good now, dude. I missed it. I just saw the tail end.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, man. But that's just for real. Okay, to get back to the conversation, that's just everything that we've seen in the XFL. Everything's looking good for season 2. Like, seriously.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I'm on the show all the time, and I talk about this. I talk about it like XFL needs to build their own stars, man. See, what's that? Hinton? Is that his name? Highton? He said his hairpiece was glued on. Was glued. Oh God!
You ready? Okay.
Yeah, Hit's my troll. Hit is my troll. That's
my God. Okay,
that's
good. Yeah, because we got the good doctor as our troll, man. That's the good doctor always been our show troll. Ain't that right, Dirty?
Yeah, you got an exclusive. Dirty really never ever takes the cat off when we do shows, so you guys got an exclusive. It's real hair. I haven't
Yes,
cut
it
the
is
top
real
of my
hair.
hair.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm very sorry. I really am.
I have not cut the top of my hair in I
Right.
think 3 years now, 4 years. I don't think I've cut the top. The sides and all that, I
Just aside.
just that.
Now,
no,
I
I
got a
mean,
question for you guys.
Okay, I'm ready.
Back to the whole off-season mini camps being held in respective
Mhm.
cities and just that whole conversation. I brought this up in a video that I've done and posted, and I also brought it up on the show a few weeks ago. I feel okay. I know that when it comes to investing in a league, you have to go channels and all that good shit. The Rock has so much money. Take some of your money and, like you said, A-Train, money to make money. Take some of your money,
Right.
all those millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that you have from all these different business ventures and movies and all this crap and wrestling, and go and spend it on a training facility, or just a little small training facility with a little practice field on the side. Put it in the respective city. Help your coaches and players move to their respective cities during the offseason, so now the fans can interact with them more during the offseason. Hell, if y'all want to stay living here during the season, stay during the season. But get them out of that hub so that they can interact with the fans
right.
more. If this is a fan league, if it's all about the fan, get them into the respective cities so that they can have their weekly meet and greets. They can do more with the fans and stuff in the community. What do you guys think, honestly, about that? The Rock and Danny actually putting their personal money into doing that.
Okay, I'll start. So, how do we know that they haven't put their personal money in? How do we know that they haven't? So, I think
Even if they have.
Well, here's the reason why. I think the idea of why they did it in the hub city, and the idea, if you look at their business plan, is to stay in the hub city for at least 3 years. Here's what we got to realize. There's a reason why they're not in New York anymore. There's a reason why they're not in Tampa anymore. Vince McMahon burned those cities and not paying, which we all found out coming through the disclosure and through the bankruptcy and all that, right? So why not keep them in their hub cities for at least 3 years, and then year 4, then get local sponsorships, get like a local like owner type ship for the team who's like a part owner of the team, and then bring them there. I mean, you got to remember the XFL in 2020. I mean, now, mind you, COVID killed it, right? That's why it failed.
True.
But a lot of people got burned in the whole 2020 deal. So I don't know if this is 100% true. I'm just going by what I feel and what I've seen and what I've read and the research I've done. That's why I'm thinking. That's why I don't think that it's at this moment a smart idea to put them in their home cities just yet. Keep them in the hub for at least another year or two. Let it become sustainable. If it's true what they said, that they're projected to make $100 million, then why not in year 3 move them to training camps in their hub cities and their home cities? That's what I think, just by what I've read. Don't know if it's true or not.
I understand where you're
I can't
coming
disagree
from.
with that. I can't disagree with that at all, man. Because if
Holy
you
shit,
gonna spend
Arlington.
money, but guess what? You also gotta be critical with your money too. So the plan was hubs, and then because they want to make sure that the game remains the same. You know what I mean? When it comes to the XFL, the game was great. Like we talked about, 83% of the games were one score games. They want to make sure that
Then
continues.
again, it
Uh-oh.
Is it me or him?
also comes
I don't know.
to the
All I
players
know is
and coaches. They haven't
Oh,
paid. Y'all can't rent.
but here's, I mean, Jersey, you got to ask this question, though. Here is the real question. how much are they getting paid? How much are they paying? How much money did they actually drop out there for the XFL? I mean, again, we know it was the 20 or 30 million, right? I mean, and then Arlington, I mean, I'll give Arlington credit. We hadn't talked about it, and I know we're going to talk about it on Tuesday's show, but Arlington brought up something that, hey, he saw that ESPN didn't even really pay for the rights. So we're looking into
And The Rock, they're saying that we got a deal. The Rock said we have a deal, right? So there's rift between the two, and he calling out Sports Illustrated or whoever was over there that made the announcement on that. The Rock himself went and defended it. So that's the thing, and everybody kept bringing about his failures and whatnot, whatever. But still, my thing is this: there is a man that's willing to fight for his league. There is a lady that's willing to for her league, right? And those are the faces of that league. I know Dirty was like, he wanted to see how The Rock wasn't going to be the face, and it was going to be all about Danny Garcia. That's not really the case. They're working side by side on this. They are working together. That's what this is about. They want to push for the league. They want to push for the players. And I know the fans like us, we're mad because they're not really pertaining to us as it's being said. Case in point, marketing, merchandise, and all that. They've been working on the game. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. I don't think this is fact. That the game is what they really want to work on to make sure that it's pleasing to the eye. 83% of great games we had due to one score. There were others that were blowouts, but it still was fun to watch. Right? They were all fun to watch. All 40 games, all 43 games at that. When we saw Arlington beat Houston in Houston, we sat back and was like, wow, I never saw that coming. But it happened. And then the championship game, Arlington beating DC. That was something unexpected. But we're glad that it happened. And so that's what made the league successful. You can talk about ratings all we want. We can sit here and talk about the attendance all we want. We can sit and talk how bad merchandise was. But you just sat here and saw a successful season. You saw it. And then you got to watch it on your phone, watch it on your tablet, watch it on your computer, watch it on your television. That was the main thing here, was making sure everybody got to see what the XFL looked like.
Yeah.
And that was perfect.
Yeah, and the good thing is, and they had said it from the very beginning of the year, this is going to be a petri. We are going to be a petri dish to see what's going to work season one, what's not going to work season one. You really look at it. I mean, in DC, they couldn't play any games on Saturdays because of restrictions and stuff like that. Seattle, they were like, you messed with your second fan base, your second biggest fan base of 2020. Like, let's put them on a Thursday, see how they do. And it wasn't really about, all we were as fans we were just paid extras. We were just extras that paid to be on a TV production. We saw that the ratings on a Thursday night game were really, really good in Seattle. So it was all a petri dish to see what would work and what wouldn't work. I mean, let's really look at it. The Rock and Danny are two people that had $7 in their pocket and built a media empire. And that's exactly what the two of them did. They built a media empire. Danny Garcia, regardless of who The Rock is, the credit goes to, like I said, a lot of my credit goes to the guy right below me and the people that I put around me. The credit of who The Rock is today is that woman that is standing beside him at that championship, Danny Garcia, because she built that man into the biggest superstar in the world. And you could tell from the get-go, this has all been about her and how she wants to build this league. And I think that's maybe why we saw a lot of changes in the offseason, during this offseason so far. Who knows? I don't know. But I have a feeling that this is about them building something, like Arlington says, a good game, a good marketing plan, a fan engagement as you see it there. That's just my opinion. Again, I don't know anything for sure. That's just my opinion. I think that's how it's going to go for the 2024 season.
I mean, it's at this rate in the game, man.
We can't hear you. Are you muted? We can't hear you. No, can't hear you.
Yeah, he sounded like he muted himself.
Yeah. Hey, Nope, still can't hear you. Oh, man.
Oh, dude.
Well, Arlington, welcome to the X Fan Show. We're taking I'm one of the hosts, the co-host of this show, Dirty. The guy right below me laughing like hyena is the A Train, Arlington.
Hey, special edition man of the X Fan Show.
Now I heard him.
There he is.
It took over the show for a second, guys. Hey, Train and Dirty had to take over the show for a second. My mic went out.
Hey, listen.
Me, but it's all right. Y'all already know
Listen,
I'm in
man.
the process of building a new PC, getting a whole new setup.
There you go.
So we'll be.
Hey, listen, that's the here.
That guy right there, GV Addis Gaming in the chat. He's actually building me a gaming PC.
Here, look, I'll say this.
You guys ever want one?
Okay, we might have to talk to him. When me and Arlington started this show, let's go to the technical difficulties. We've had a lot of technical difficulties in the 5 years.
It happens
building this show. But that's what makes these type of shows is you're constantly working, just like with the XFL. They're constantly working to improve themselves. We're always looking. I mean, we were talking prehand about the different streaming services that are out there that you stream to. I mean, me and Arlington probably went through, Arlington, what, 15, 20 different streaming services?
Yeah. We went through a bunch of them, man.
So
just to find the right one for it to work.
So you're constantly improving, and I think that's where the XFL is heading now. They saw what didn't work in 2020 or in 2023.
Yeah,
and they're like, okay, we saw what didn't work. Now we're going to improve it. I mean, here, example. Everybody hated the NFL thing, right? But now look at us, the partnership with the NFL. Now look at us. We're like, oh my God, Kobe Smith just got signed. Jack Cohen just got an invite. Jordan Ta'amu got signed. Ben DiNucci just got signed. Akeem Butler just got signed. We're all like, oh my God, our guys are going.
No, you're not. You already know how I feel about it. You know how I feel about it.
But anyways, we're all like, oh my God, our guys from our league are going to the big show. And we're rooting
or back to the big show.
Right. I'm going to be rooting for players like that, like Jack Cohen.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as No Hands Butler couldn't catch his first 3 passes, I hope he does good. And I hope he does good with the Steelers. I really do. I really do.
I do. I do too.
Rooting for those.
He'll be huge. He's going to be huge for the Steelers.
Yeah. And I think
Akeem Butler's going to be huge for the Steelers, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. The people in San Antonio, how they embrace that city, how they embrace that team down there. I mean,
yeah, they did.
Luke
packing the Alamo Dome as much as they could every time.
Luke, what's his name, Arlington?
Luke Barku.
Luke Barku. I'm going to be rooting for Luke.
Yeah.
I'm
in Pittsburgh, yeah.
I mean, listen, as much as Parker Romo literally cost the San Antonio Brahmas the game. They could have went to the playoffs, but no. I'm telling you, I think Arlington paid off Parker Romo to miss that kick wide. I'm telling you, I don't know if you get to the end of it, but Parker Romo,
oh God,
missed that kick on purpose. So the Arlington, you want to talk about that? Listen, this was all staged. They wanted the Arlington Renegades in there, and they wanted the DC Defenders in there. This was all staged and scripted.
Oh my God. Not another NFL gig.
If you believe that, you're an idiot. Because it wasn't staged.
Just say it.
No, I'll be rooting for Parker Romo. I'll be rooting for all of these guys in the XFL that are making it to the NFL.
Idiot number 1. We can start there.
Right.
There he is, right there.
Idiot. Who's an idiot?
No, but I am too, though. I'm rooting for all these players and them just having the opportunity. Like, people have to realize, like, this rebuild of the new version of the XFL history was made, for one, with Danny Garcia being the first woman to be a majority owner of a league. That's right. Hands down number one. And to have success we were able to make it to an entire season, have a championship game on. You're able to go on to a next season and have an off season, even have an off season to talk about. Now you're able to have a rookie draft, another draft coming up, all the showcases, all this. You know what I mean? just with everything that the XFL has done in this 2023 season, just shows that they're here for the future. They're not just here for 1 or 2 years. They're going to be here for they're going to be here for a while, especially
Let
producing
me let
talent.
me let me add to that. Let me
Are
add
you
to that.
going to, or do you want me to, Arlington? Because you know how I
No,
feel.
I know because you're gonna jump. You're really gonna jump it, and I may jump you instead for this for what I'm about to say here. The thing is this. No, seriously, it was about regaining trust.
Mm-hmm.
This whole season was about regaining the trust of the fan because 2020 we were all in.
Yeah,
Despite the
we
fact,
definitely
I
were.
kid you not, Jersey, 2018 when that announcement of the XFL came, we was like it was the league that we didn't know that we needed because we didn't ask for it. We never
Right? No,
asked for the
Right.
XFL to come back. It just came back, right? And then when it did, it got a lot of curious eyeballs because remember they
Mm-hmm.
did the video aspect. This is the future. This is not the past. That whole thing. They were
Yeah.
trying to let you know this was going to be a different type of XFL that was coming out. So then people start getting excited for it, right? And
Yep.
then when the league came and we had the first games and whatnot, because me and Dirty ourselves, we went to the very first Battlehawks game in Dallas. So we were in Arlington for that very first game. And so when that happened, it was like, oh my God, it felt like going to watch the Rams play in the NFL. We enjoyed it. And then when we got to
Right.
the home opener in St. Louis, man, it felt like we were back home, like we had our football team. And I'm talking about everything was lining up like it was looking good as the season progressed. And then, of course, COVID hit. And so it was like, okay, well, damn, then we ain't got no season no more.
Crashed it. Yep.
It crashed and burned. So it's like again another failure. So then when 2023 came around, and then they started adding cities like Orlando, who got burned by the AAF, San Antonio, who got burned by the AAF, right? And then so you bringing in back St. Louis. St. Louis said we was in no matter what because we want to bring some revenue back in
Mm-hmm.
town anyway, right? So then you're bringing in
And
Vegas.
Vegas wanted the team back.
Vegas was like, okay, we want a team back.
We want back in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I wish they got Samboy Stadium, but I'm not
hold
gonna
on,
get into that.
hold
Not
on,
gonna
hold
get
on.
into that.
That, oh my God, I don't even want to get into that. Oh my God, I don't want
Hey,
to get into
hey,
that.
talk
That's the
to
thing.
talk,
It's the
talk to your mayor. Talk
stupidest
to your mayor.
thing in the
Talk
world.
to your mayor. Talk to
Yeah.
No, we got to talk to Al Davis.
well, look, hold on.
Right.
That
Yeah.
dickhead Al
Here's what you guys
Davis.
are forgetting. Here's what you guys are forgetting, and I'll say it. Okay.
You're Samboy Stadium just because you want to? Because you want to make it
Well, I
easier
mean,
for
listen.
people to drive through
He got
there?
that kind of
So
power though.
what?
That's the
They can
problem.
go around the stadium to get to
Listen.
those houses.
Hey, I've been to Vegas. It's kind of confusing on which way to go. You can get really lost if you're not from Vegas. But here, I'm actually gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. So let's really look at this version of the 2023 XFL. Of this version of the XFL. Let's look at the
Okay.
ownership. Let's look at the ownership. It's a Hispanic woman, right? Hispanic woman owns this league. Let's look at the majority of the head coaches. They're all minority head coaches, right? This is stuff that we don't see in other professional sports, but we got to see it in the XFL. Let's look at these staffs that were put in place. Minority staffs. Let's look at the people that from the tops of each team all the way down to ticket agency, minorities put into place. When they say that this was a league of opportunity, this was literally a league of opportunity, not for people that look like me, not for people that look like me, but for people that look like you guys and for women and Hispanics. That's what it was about. And I don't care less what anybody wants to say. You can say this was a political statement and all that bullshit. If you do, you're a piece of trash and you need just to go off, because this was about giving people an opportunity to prove themselves. And that's what it did. That's what it did.
That's
it
all
proved
it was.
Themselves. It proved
3
that a
referees.
woman. Well, I mean, look how many female referees they had. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I mean, look.
And then the opportunity that the refs got. Now 3 of them are in the NFL with jobs.
Exactly. This was about giving people who don't have that opportunity the shot to live out their dreams. And that's what it did. And that's what 2024 is going
Remember,
to do.
2020 did the same thing.
Yeah,
Remember when they had the team presidents, there were more. There were
Or-
women. There
And
were the
minority.
minorities. There were even with the coaches.
Yep.
So
And the
the game plan
diversity.
always has remained the same. It always
Yep.
remained the same, and they kept it as they wanted to make it a league of opportunity. Then maybe it didn't come out perfectly because you got to remember. Let's not forget Oliver Luck, the job that he put in with those weeks. Shoot,
Yeah.
remember every week we were saying my commissioner is better than your commissioner.
right, yeah.
Yep.
So we weren't
Definitely we
saying it
were.
just to be funny. We knew what the deal was until we found out later what the real deal was. But my point was is that
Exactly.
my point is that that was the thing they were working for the fan. Remember, Oliver Luck was going everywhere to talk to
Well,
fans. I know that couldn't happen this go round because they wanted again.
Yeah, he
It goes
was.
back to making sure that the game was out there because they had the template. They already had everything, so they was making sure that was taken care of first. I get it. The fans, it was about the fans
well,
watching the game. It wasn't about the merchandise for real, in my opinion. It
there's
wasn't
the other
about
big thing.
the
It's the
marketing.
other big thing they were missed, though. Let's really look at it.
What's that?
What other college organization did it give an opportunity to?
To what college?
Yeah. What other college? What other college organization? The
Oh, you talking about
HBCUs.
HBCUs? You talking about HBCUs? Yeah.
Exactly.
Gave those players an opportunity to get their stuff out there. And
This is huge.
it's very huge. And listen,
This
what are they doing?
showcase today
They're doing
is
another yes,
huge.
they're doing another showcase at the HBCU. It gave that stuff, like here what Mike says, what Bobby Wagner doing for the XFL. It's exciting, but I also don't
Yep.
want the XFL to have the same image as vets going to the China to finish their career. Like him said,
Okay.
aka football, equality
Yeah.
football,
This
aka
is
well,
this
that's
is
what
my
did
thing
it.
to that statement. To having a player like Bobby Wagner in the league. If he still want to play, I get it. It's one spot. Will it cause a domino effect? Not sure. Because the case in point, you got guys like Josh Gordon, Martavius Bryant, Vic Beasley. Like those are
Here-
guys that they've had name recognition. This is name recognition. They've had
Yeah,
opportunities where they played
definitely.
in Pro Bowls or they've had their name across headlines. Bobby Wagner wants to do the same just to finish off his career. If he's just doing it for a year, understood. Granted, what that means is for players, you better work harder because he may take your spot.
But what if
But
Bobby Wagner?
Also, you have to look at it this way too. Doing it just because the love of the game. He doesn't want to deal with the NFL
Exactly.
crap no more. Give me a
Maybe-
little small contract so I can take the next 2 years of my life that I want to finish out my
And
career.
donate it. He can
Let me play
donate
for
that
an
money,
XFL
man.
team.
I mean, you heard what Josh Gordon
exactly.
did. You heard what Josh Gordon did. He said, "I'm only playing this for the love of the game."
Yeah,
That's what Josh
he wasn't.
Gordon
He's not
said.
trying to go back to the NFL.
No,
Josh Gordon will
but what
stay.
if-
Josh Gordon will stay a Sea Dragon as long as he wants.
right?
As long as
But
he
what if
wants.
with Bobby Wagner, because he's retired, he's got that contract with the Seahawks that he can't do anything for a year. What if he waits the year, and then a certain individual in Seattle retires, and they just plop Bobby Wagner right in there as the head coach?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm
Because
just
big,
saying.
because then guess what? Guess what? You going back to the Rod Woodson effect then? Are we
I'm
not?
going to dirty speculation. That's all I'm
That's what
saying.
happened.
you doing?
I'm sorry. That's what I.
B-Wag is
Oh.
a legend in
Mute his microphone. Mute his microphone.
He's a
Mute
legend
his
in
microphone.
Seattle.
Mute his
Give Bobby
microphone,
Wagner the
man.
opportunity to be a head
Mute
coach.
his microphone,
Let
man.
the man do it.
No, Bobby Wagner as a
Thank
head
you.
coach
Exactly.
would not work. Let him come in and be
Nah,
a
you
player.
both
Let him
are
come in and be a
crazy. You both
player.
are crazy. Both crazy. Both crazy. I'm starting
He'll
the
have,
campaign.
he'll have the
I'd
Rod
rather him
Woodson
play.
effect, but worse.
Listen, I'm starting the campaign right now. B-Wag 2025 head coach of the Seattle Sea Dragons. I'm starting.
And he gets
hashtag
fired
B-Wag.
for tackling somebody on the field because the ref made a bad call.
That's fine. That's what I would love to see. Finally, a head coach that's got a set on him. That
You try to get these gimmicks out here, dirty. See, that's what you've been trying to do for the longest, man. You want the gimmicks to come back for.
He's trying to bring back the 2001 XFL.
That's right. I'm starting
We don't want the
hashtag now.
gimmick crap back.
B-Wag for HC and CCD.
What? You try to get him in Seattle. I get it, but if he want to play, I don't see that being a big problem. You should let them have Mike Tyson versus the letter S moment. But hey, but my thing is this. I don't see that happen. We mentioned like the Josh Gordon and the Bobby Wagners and all that stuff. They want to play because they want to continue to play. And there's nothing wrong with bringing extra butts to the seats if they want to come out and play. You know what I'm saying? Because all right,
why not?
Folks talk about the XFL because it's minor, right? And if they want to delve down into that, because I still think that there can be something major that could come out of this. Call me crazy, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's how they looked at the USFL back in the '80s, right? It was actually considered major, considering what they were up against. So I think the XFL can do the same, and they can corner the spring market. I really think so.
Well, I mean,
they definitely can.
Listen, I know, Jersey, you talk USFL on your show, but let's really look at it. What has cornered? What's been the difference? USFL did great last year in the ratings, right? Because they didn't have the XFL. And look, as much as I want the XFL to succeed or the USFL to succeed, what's really been the better game? It's nothing against
the thing.
This
is the thing I see that the difference is. This is the only difference I see. Television production.
Okay,
let's keep it real.
If you say that, then the USFL's television production is better than the XFL. Let's be real.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing that they have on the XFL is their television production. Right. If
the fact they're on network TV
and ABC were those old Monday Night Football, but I'm saying if the XFL were to get a network television deal over the whole ESPN and FX deal, more so, and they have more games on, let's say CBS. Hell, Attack Turner Network, TBS. It's local.
Georgie, I'll say this. In all the years I've been broadcasting with Arlington, I've never literally have him walk out of a shot before. And I've said some crazy shit on our show.
No, but do you want to know the reason why I walked off? I'm finna tell you.
Walked out before. That was the great.
I do.
I'm gonna tell you why I said. I'm gonna tell you why I walked off. I'm gonna tell you why. Because that is what I preached before. I've been wanting a second broadcast network to work with the XFL. CBS, Turner, I'm like, bring them in, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, are you serious? Like, in a big corner this market. That's what made me get up and walk off, because that was the other thing. CBS could make that work, but the problem is, this is the problem. This is the problem. You know what CBS is working with during that period. CBS is working with college basketball. True. And you know that is prime over anything, especially when it gets to March Madness. And you know TNT. Saturdays is wrapped. So you can't do it.
And TNT and TBS now are doing the college basketball too. So it kills it.
I like this one because I want to. I like Mike's question right here. And I mean, Arlington, we've talked about
the video game.
Yeah, this could be an opportunity
like that.
To 2K
so right
into the football. I mean, listen, I would love to see that. I would love to see it. I would love to see that. Oh, no.
2K doesn't have a football game anymore. So
listen, if 2K is going to do it, I would love to put that stuff on Pornhub. That'd be great. It's possibly my.
It would mess up the whole landscape of what that's supposed to mean for anyway.
But if you put
XFL game on Pornhub, that don't make sense. You already know that.
I would play it. I'm just saying.
Anyway, but that comment about 2K.
Jackass.
My only problem with 2K.
It's so smart.
My only problem with 2K is the jerseys never got dirty.
You don't think a PS5 game would get them dirty? Come on, man. Are you serious?
They didn't on the PS2 and they didn't on the Xbox.
Okay, but look what you're talking about, man. You're talking about something from freaking years ago.
Give us
Okay,
give us a XFL 2K. XFL
I would say
2K24.
I would say after 3 years, we should get one. It got to be
look.
3 successful seasons.
Yeah.
We should be able to get one, or at least get one on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Where we can play the game on the phone or whatever.
Stay.
Exactly.
Right.
Because if
true, a mobile
you're
game
trying
would
to
be
build
great.
up stars, man, then a game will work. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing.
Another
why I said what I
advertising
said.
Another advertising thing that Hit was talking about on last week's episode, the XFL should do deals with, like, where'd you say, ballpark Franks.
Well, I mean, look,
put players or team logos on beer cans. Budweiser.
That's hard right now.
Promote the league.
That's hard right
now. Not individual players yet. Not individual players, just the teams.
That's hard right now.
I mean,
because you got to remember they still consider. Okay.
But now, Jersey.
What's the baseball team? What's the baseball team y'all have in Vegas, Jersey? What's the baseball team y'all got there?
Las Vegas Aviators minor league.
The Aviators,
Las
right?
Vegas Aviators minor league team.
Do they have a major sponsorship with anyone?
I'm not sure if it's major, but I got to look into it, to be honest with you. I definitely have
because
to look into
the reason I say that because they're looking at the XFL. There are people looking at the XFL as minor league football. And the reason why,
gotcha.
Now, granted, you have Zoa, you have the Rocks on there and stuff, and they have, Budweiser with the seltzer and stuff. That's cool. Then that's for the league. But a major sponsor like Progressive or something, right. You know what I mean? They're not going to have that unless it's somebody local in that market that's going to cover that. You get what I'm saying? And so they are not ready to tap into that yet until the XFL decides they are ready to play major league football. And I'm talking about be considered a major league game. So that's why they probably won't take that route just yet. And I know alternative football, spring football league, they look at it as minor anyway, which I hate that. Because you can't be in major cities, it could be a minor team. But they look at it because of the rosters. Huh? What are you saying, Dirty?
With sponsorship, right? Instead of trying to go for the big guys. Like at San Antonio, they went Alamo Beer Company, local beer company, made the Alamo beer, right? Okay. Like Mike said, in XFL 2020 had the Bud Light Seltzer shotgunning beers with fans in the locker rooms. It worked. Exactly. It did.
Yep.
So go with the
it was fan engagement.
Go with the smaller local businesses in the area. Go with them.
And there's nothing wrong with the Bud Light Seltzer, but you also have to remember Bud Light Seltzer was the smaller portion of Budweiser. Yeah. Remember, the seltzers were not as big, not as known until
Nick Fitch,
when it came out.
Tyler Heineke started shotgunning them after a win,
and when they did that, it became popular. But my thing was Bud Light Seltzer. If you look at Budweiser, Bud Light Seltzer is not as high on people's list of getting drinking beer
at all.
No.
On an average, I'm talking about on an average. Seltzers is down at the bottom. Like, what the hell are you doing with a seltzer? But it made it work. It did make it work because of what happened with the players having it. But that's the thing. It was a lower end of Bud Light. It wasn't Bud Light they were using. They was like, okay, we'll give them the seltzers.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That's kind of the difference.
I gotta pee. How do I get off so I can go to the bathroom?
Turn off your camera.
You don't even have to. There you go.
So, that's the thing. That's
but
the
you're right
thing about it, Jersey.
They have the name, the Bud Light name. That's what Bud Light's giving you. That's what Budweiser's giving you. Let's say it like that. We'll give you the Bud Light name to use, but it's going to be the seltzer.
Exactly.
So make it work, and they did.
Exactly. They were able to make it work, even though it was a low end of Bud Light. And like, if you're trying to get McDonald's and Nike, and I know they did Under Armour because of the equipment and stuff like that, you got to remember They look
Right.
at that, that's kind of lower end, you know what I mean? And so um it is major, but it's not where like the NFL is doing with Little
Right.
Caesars and when they had Papa John's and when they had Pizza Hut. Those were major corporate
Right.
sponsorships that they had. And they are a league that's not at that level yet.
They need to prove
They
themselves to
can
these
be,
companies.
exactly. And year one is a start
It's a
because
stepping stone.
even local media in town did not get involved with it because of what happened previously in 2020. Like they look at it as second rate. And
Like, oh,
because they
here
look
we
at it
go
as
again.
second rate, they weren't going to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
No radio station was going to take it. No TV station wasn't going to do it. So what did they have to do? They had to use ESPN, FX. They had to use
Mm-hmm.
ABC, right? Then they had to use satellite radio. All they did was ESPN Plus feed and simulcast what was on television. And that was an easy
Right. But
fix
hit like
because it was just 2 games per day. You get what I'm
exactly.
saying?
And
Like
hit like A
it
Train
was an
was
easy
saying,
fix.
it's gonna be hard for the Happy Meal and the collectible cards because that's major. That's more major. You know what I mean? To get the league has to get established. Now that we've had a failure in 2001,
Sustain, right.
20 years, 19, 20 years later, we had a failure in 2020. You know what I mean? And then you come back in 2023 and actually have some success. And it's even the Locusts, like A Train was saying, is still like, eh,
Right.
like we had some
They're not
success, but
trusting it.
what does that really mean to us? You know what I mean? So
Even in
once the
March,
league establishes itself, go ahead.
I'm gonna mess you up real quick,
Go ahead,
Jersey.
Adrian.
St. Louis was the biggest attendance with the XFL, right? And they have
Yep.
an ABC station in St. Louis, right? But they don't even have a news department in St. Louis. And that's where they were broadcasting the games on ABC. That's why you did not see Battlehawk games on ABC.
Right.
It's because they don't have
Oh
a news
wow.
station
Mm-hmm.
at all. So what
Mm-hmm.
would have been the point? So they would have
Right.
said, "Hey, we want to do a pregame and postgame. Who you gonna hire to do it when you have nobody to do it?
Right.
You would have to go to a whole nother station and grab people and do that. It's stupid." Yeah, I'm reading the comments. I'm seeing.
No, see, Jersey. I got
Dirty.
something in my
Let Dirty do it.
throat about they could
Pre and post
about the pre and post in St. Louis. I think they might have had something, but
Yeah, well, they might have had something, man.
I might have pissed some more people.
Okay, he mentioned. Okay, the guy just mentioned brand
And
recognition,
you know
right? If
what's
they had the name right,
I like what Mike says here. You
you
gotta
know
the
what's
love
HBCU
crazy?
championship.
Mike, say
better.
with you talking about the XFL Bowl, I've always wanted it this whole season. I've been like, they need to call the XFL championship game the X Bowl. I don't care if it sounds like a ripoff from the NFL. So what? It's all about football. It shouldn't matter. Call it the X Bowl. It would have been
But
cool and give us a better trophy than
look, here's what I like
the
when he
see-through
says.
football with an Oreo on the bottom.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, let's look at it. He goes,
Hey, that championship wasn't bad, man. That championship wasn't as bad as everybody made it
which
seem.
championship? The
The
Would
trophy,
you
the
have taken a bite
championship
out of that
trophy.
Oreo cookie of the base?
about the KitchenAid blender, KitchenAid blender,
Oh God!
and his as he says his thing falls. Like I like
My
look, who are they partnering with today? The HBCU, right? So why not name the HBCU
Mhm.
championship? Do it as a naming room, XFL.
because it's
HBCU
not
championship.
okay.
But I get it.
HBCU
But look,
is not
he
a
says,
brand.
No, but brand the XFL, I get it. So like like the college, they have the Cheetos Bowl. The
Oh, well, if
Pop-Tart
that's the case, then
Bowl.
you would call it the the XFL's
The XFL
the
Bowl.
ZOA XFL Bowl or the ZOA X Bowl.
You could
Yeah.
do it that way. I
Yeah.
mean,
It would have to be something.
look, We
it
don't
would have
know.
to be something brand XFL.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't know what they're going to
But
do
you
in
get it. It would
2024.
have to be something branding them.
Exactly.
I mean, look,
sound like a fit
you
breakfast
like
cereal.
Magnums, the XFL Magnums. That's a great gun. It's 357 Magnum. It's a great gun, so you could put the XFL on a 357.
I see where you go with that. I'm glad you took it that direction. But yeah, I couldn't regard
Thank you.
Look,
brand
Vince a
recognition with some of
jackass.
that.
XFL oil. You need to lube up your parts, but you need to lube up your parts in your car and use oil. That's a great idea. Great idea. I think. Great
I
idea.
love it. I love it. Dirty
Great
is
idea.
awesome. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love the 357 Magnums idea. Let's do it.
Shut
XFL.
up.
That would be
Shut up,
awesome.
dude.
The XFL logo on the handle. It'll be
Yeah.
beautiful.
Can you imagine The Rock holding that
every gun read XFL logo.
Right. Yeah. Every Magnum comes with it.
Hey,
That's
dude,
my
I mean, you know what?
the XFL championship trophy, man. Even the division championships. Come on, metal shop worker
They look
made
like a
that crap.
KitchenAid blender.
That's how I look at it. Like,
but they actually did, man. Like, there's a group that actually made that. But listen, it wasn't as bad as people wanted to give it, man. Like, considering that they never. Okay, if you're gonna be honest, they never were going to. The teams are never going to keep those championships, right?
That's true. They're going to stay in Arlington.
right.
They're not going anywhere. They just did it for show.
Right.
Say, hey, we got you this championship. It never was gonna go.
Trophies. Why don't you show them to us? Because you have the trophies. Show us your trophies.
Say what?
Your name XFL. You're Arlington. Where's the?
Oh, so where my trophy at? Are you right? My team did win the championship this past did so.
Yeah.
So the only way they could do an XFL Call of Duty collaboration is putting certain players on there, and these players have to establish themselves, stay in the league, not be trying. They have to be those players who don't want to go to the NFL. They just want to play play at the XFL level just for the love of the game.
See, and I think
so you
now
have
that
to get a
cool.
bunch of players who are staying consistently.
That would be cool to me. You know what I mean? Because like when Mike had mentioned about the XFL video game, right? Getting guys like AJ McCarron, Josh Gordon, Martavis Bryant, Vic Beasley, and say, hey, these are the stars of the XFL, right? And then they did a game or something with it, and you could play as Jordan Teamu or something like that.
Yeah,
that would be that wouldn't be too bad.
I would say, with the XFL, it just be in year one. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, with it being year one, right? I think what we'll see by year 3, maybe year 4, maybe year 5, that the XFL is starting to gain some traction, and they'll be like, hey, we're gaining the traction. We can't afford to start building stars. And then that's what they're going to start getting that more money. Or, I mean, maybe they want to be like The Rock has said, and all the coaches have said, we want to be that league of opportunity for that guy who wants that shot to get to that next step. You heard we talked to Coach Beck. We've talked to Coach Pro and talked about, he talked about how great it was that he thought that he's gotten his entire receiving corps to the NFL. That's a big that's a big accomplishment. I've coached baseball with kids for years, and to see my kids move to different levels, it makes me feel good. So you could think of how these guys are feeling. These guys like Akeem Butler and Darius Shepard going, I helped them get to that next level. And I mean, maybe that's what it is, and maybe that's what the XFL wants. And maybe us as fans, because we're so invested with the XFL, we're just like, no, let us keep our players. But at the same time, we're going to be rooting for all those guys if they go to the NFL.
True. Also, I wanted at a point where some player, I wanted a player at some point that is in the NFL is like, you know what? I had more fun in the XFL. I'd rather go back down and play with it.
I have a feeling.
And you know what? I think it's going to happen. I honestly think it's going to happen.
And I think I know who it will be. It will be one player. No, I don't think it'll be Jay Peasy. but you're on the right team. I think it would be Ben DiNucci.
Watch.
I think Ben DiNucci will be the player that says,
You think so?
yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going back to the XFL.
Because I got to do more. He got to do more stuff, and he was able to run the league ragged.
Yep.
I don't like you guys.
Hey, because he's not going to be able to.
This is what's going to happen. Sean Payton's going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Payton's going to ride his ass the entire year and piss him the fuck off to where he doesn't want to be in the league anymore, and he's going to come back to the XFL a better quarterback than he was this year.
Right, exactly.
Payton's going to get those turnovers down. Payton's going to get those turnovers down. Watch what I tell you. He's going to get those turnovers down. DiNucci's going to become better, and he's going to come back to the XFL. Watch.
And then we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to see it, Arlington. We're going to get to see the Nooch dance again, baby. Whoop. Yeah. The Nooch.
What is that? Was it?
The Nooch.
If the USFL suspends operations, what does that do to the perception of the XFL? I feel the media will have a field day saying the XFL will suffer the same fate as every spring league. I don't think so.
You're seeing what they.
I don't either.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Let's really look at this. We could sit here and bash on all the stuff that the XFL did wrong, right? But here's the one thing that we cannot deny. If you look at their TV ratings between TV and streaming, that was just reported over 1 million per game average, right?
Huge.
Average attendance. Now this is league wide. Average attendance 40,000 in the stadium. They had over, what was it, Arlington? We did it was like over 500,000 fans attended the entire XFL season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything, no matter what we want to say or what, I don't know what their expectations were, but I know me and Arlington talked about it, what our expectations were, and they exceeded everything we talked about. They exceeded everything we talked about. As long as, I think, with the XFL and with the way that it's being ran, and if they do get into their home cities, or when they get into their home cities, I honestly think the XFL could go past the 5-year mark. I honestly think it could. If they stick to the plan they have, it really looks like they can. And I don't think it's really, I know we want players to stay and we want players to grow and we want our own superstars, right? But at the same time, I don't really think we need those superstar players. Would it be great to have superstar players? Yes, like they do in the NFL. Would it? Yes. I don't think they really need it because of the diehard fans and the diehard passion that us as fans that do these types of shows and all that stuff have for the XFL. That's just how I see it. Now,
and you know what? Are you watching the USFL right now?
No.
Are you watching the USFL game right now?
I'm doing this show.
And no, even when we doing this show, did you see what kind of crap that we just? Now listen, I understand it's the USFL and stuff, but man, how can you say that this is going to excite you, man? How? I know there's been bad football. I know it's been bad football, right? And also, since you say you talk about the USFL, you're gonna have a division where there's gonna be 4 teams with all 4-6.
Well, what's the difference with the guys who won the championship in the XFL? Nothing. They all started on the
exactly. I want y'all to bitch about that too. They won't.
Me personally, I don't care. You want to know why? Because I look at it this way: Arlington wanted it more. Arlington was the better team. Arlington went in there and did the damn job, got the damn job done, and came out with a win like they were supposed to. Why? Because they went into the game not underestimating themselves, nor underestimating what DC was capable of. So they went in there with a game plan. They stopped the offense, shitted on the defense, and Luis Perez had a fucking amazing game. Period, point blank. If you don't like it, I don't care. At the end of the day, that's just what happened. Arlington was the better team. Luis Perez is a fucking spring league legend. He's touched every single spring league. He's a legend. You ain't think with the right coach he wasn't going to get him a chip? He probably don't even want to go to the NFL. He probably wants to be.
I think he does because he want to prove himself. But,
yeah.
But, at the end of the day.
This is me as Luis Perez. me get 2 championships in a row, then I'll come to the NFL.
Hey, yeah.
Back to back, baby.
Back to
back.
And that's what makes this so exciting. You had a guy like Luis Perez that taught himself how to play football and to play quarterback
Off of
on
YouTube.
Off of YouTube.
Off of YouTube.
Not overlooked.
Off.
Everywhere the dude has went, the dude has been a winner. In every spring league he's played, the dude has been a winner. We had Jordan Ta'amu on the show. And again, I go back to when I say everybody talks about Jordan Ta'amu being my man crush. Jordan Ta'amu said it right on our show. Luis Perez is one of the smartest spring football quarterbacks that's out there. He came out, he executed his game plan, and he beat us. He goes, nothing but
and when you have the opposing quarterback come on a podcast show and say it out of his own mouth.
You have the offensive player of the year in the XFL say, hey, this dude knows what he's doing. He should be in the league. Plain and simple.
He was better than me
Plain
that
and
night.
Simple. He was better than me.
Yep.
Smacked me around and called me Susan from the movie Blank Man. One of my favorite movies with Damon
Blank
Wayans.
Man.
Smacked me around and called me Susan.
Call me
He
Susan.
smacked that. Yeah. If you really look what Luis Perez did all season, that's the type of stuff that we want to see as players or as fans. That's what we want to see.
Right.
That's what we want to see. That's what it is. You know what I mean? We want to see that kind of thing. We want to see those kind of players and stuff like that. It's that simple.
That is actually not a bad idea. Put some of the XFL players that are coming back next year on American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Would they be willing to do that?
I'm just saying they'll get that promotion for the league.
I got an idea. We do an American Ninja Warrior, Dirty versus Arlington. Who will survive?
Nobody. Absolutely no one.
I guarantee you I die before you, bro. Guarantee
Nobody
you I die
making
before you, bro. You know what I mean?
One name.
For the first minute, we done.
It says right here, the European League is in its third year. Has a better product than the USFL. They've already sold 50K tickets for their first championship. See that right there again. Would love to see the XFL have an NFL Euro type of association with it.
Allocation, dude. Allocation.
You know, I can't read. That's why I got to go to Prolific and learn how to read.
I got to call Ricky, man. I got to call Ricky Pro like 8, man.
You got to call Ricky. Yeah. You got to call him. And now,
hey man, I know we were supposed to talk some other football, man, but this XFL stuff, it just shows you, Jersey, why we so passionate about it.
We're fine, man.
Yeah, it shows you
and man, this is why I'm so happy to have you guys on my show today, because I love you can ask my viewers, I love the XFL. I talk more about the XFL than I do the USFL or the NFL, to be honest. I just talk about all football because I love football, but the XFL, that's my league. I want to work for the XFL. I literally want to be a sideline reportcaster for the XFL. Or when you were talking about that team ownership, I want to purchase the Vegas Vipers. Literally.
This guy,
guy's
got some gold, baby.
Bro, I do.
Would one
I look at it like this.
I do want. If they were to go public, on the stock market, I would invest in the XFL.
I would too. And I think that's what makes the XFL so different. Go ahead. It's your show.
It's an opportunity league. And my thing is like this. I got hurt 2.5 years ago. And I'm looking at, being taken care of for the rest of my life. Why not? The XFL was bought for what? $15 million, another 15 of debt covered, so about 30 million.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that out of these 8 teams, all 8 of these teams are worth multi-millions of dollars. No. I should be able to buy a damn team for $1 million. Here you go.
Yo.
More than that.
I'm just saying.
Right. No, I get
Why?
it. No, I get it.
Why?
Well, I mean, look, if they make $100 million next year, you better jack that price up.
So what?
But that's what I'm saying.
No, you can't.
That's what makes this
You want to know why? Look at it
XFL
this way.
right.
Let's not take the $15 million debt. Let's take away the $15 million debt, right?
Okay.
You bought this league for $15 million. So you're telling me that each one of those teams is worth up to $15 million? No. Those teams are about worth maybe $1.2 million.
Right now, I agree with you. Right now,
let me buy into it. Here you go. Here's $1.2 million. Let me be part owner of the team. Minority owner.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to bring in everything that's needed to locally advertise this team, promote this team, put this team in the local market to where people in Las Vegas are excited for the Vegas Vipers football team. Hell, I'll help them renovate fucking Cashman. Let's go. let's turn this baby into a 20,000 seater.
But here's what you got to realize with the whole local stuff and local media. Most broadcast, local broadcast loses money for their teams. They lose money for their teams. They don't really generate a whole lot of money. Let's really look at it. And this is what makes the XFL so special. I mean, like Mike said, Jordan bought the Hornets for $180 million in 2010, just sold them for $3 billion. This is what makes the XFL so special is the fan bases, the fans that love this. I mean, you look at every single show, and me and Arlington know of all the shows that are out there that feature and talk about the XFL, USFL, and all of that stuff, right? We pay attention to all those shows. So, like Jersey, when you got guys like you that reach out to us and say, "Hey, I want you guys on this show," that's why we do it. We're like, okay, we were in your spot at one time where we were those guys trying to build our audience. So that's us paying it forward to everybody else. But it's the fan bases like that. It's the people like that. That's why we built the Legion, is to get the fans united as one and say, hey, we are the XFL. We are the fan base, and we are here to support this league, regardless of what city we live in, what it is, what our affiliation is. We're here to support this league, and we will do whatever it takes to support this league. And I guarantee you, Jersey, like you said, if they opened it up to where people could come in as minority ownerships, I guarantee you people would buy that up quicker than anything. I know I would in St. Louis. I know I have 40,000 people that follow us that would do that. I know people in Houston would do it. I know people in Vegas would do it. And if you really and if you talk about how you're a fan first team, then that's how you do it. Or a fan first league, that's how you can do it. And you do it that way, this league ain't going anywhere. If it's the fans, this league ain't going anywhere. If the fans are the ones that put the money in, start putting the money in as minority orders, forget about it. This league will take over.
It'll succeed like the Green Bay Packers team in the NFL. People got to realize the people in the city of Green Bay own that team. That team is not owned by the NFL or any owner in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers team is literally owned by the fans of Green Bay. So if the XFL were to do that, because you have to look at it and I talk about Vegas so much because you have to look at it this way.
Like right here, Mike just said it. Just what you said.
Vegas is finally getting professional. Exactly.
Because Vegas is going to be literally the sports capital of the world, man.
Vegas is getting huge with sports. Yeah, we just got the WNBA Las Vegas Aces last year won the WNBA championship. This year, the Vegas Golden Knights just won the Stanley Cup. Back-to-back championships on the pro level brought to this city in 2 years.
When the Vegas A's come to Vegas, they're going to win the World Series.
You really putting that out there?
Hey, bro,
you really putting that out there?
If they do things right,
Jimmy G.
Listen. This is the prime market for the Athletics.
That's right.
The prime market for the Athletics.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
Not hitting
I know that.
Right.
I know that. I know Oakland.
To the Raiders. Jimmy G, baby. Jimmy
G. Turn their shit around. You gotta imagine a WNBA championship, and the Aces are looking like they might back-to-back shit. So look at the Aces bringing a championship in the WNBA. Vegas Golden Knights bringing a championship in hockey. if the Raiders get their shit together and make it to the playoffs, and all that good stuff, and possibly being a
the
Super
Golden
Bowl in the
Knights
next few years,
second
I think
time
it's
into
coming.
the Stanley Cup?
Just-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their second
Is it
time
this
in 6
Golden Knights
years.
second time?
Their very
That's what
first
I thought,
season,
yeah.
they went. The very first season, they went to the Stanley Cup and they lost 4-1 to Washington.
Yep.
They've made it to the playoffs every season except last season. And then this season we go to the playoff. We go to the Stanley Cup Finals for the second time in 6 seasons. And on top of that, this is the first 6 seasons of this expansion team. So to make it to the Stanley Cup twice in those 6 seasons, on top of winning, just bringing that sports atmosphere and that championship atmosphere to this city, the Vipers are prime and ready for the exposure of sports in Vegas. Professional sports in Vegas, whether you want to look at it as a minor league level or a major league level. The Vegas Vipers are in a prime position, especially if they can go in their second season and make it to the championship game. They come in with, we just get Jonathan Hayes comes in as coach. You got Jalen McClendon running the offense as your quarterback. We have all the pieces that we still had this season back. Vic Beasley, Jeff Badette, Martavis Bryant, all those guys. And we play like we can play. Just imagine we win a championship in the XFL or even compete for one. Not even just win it, but just compete.
Now that we keep talking about this, I want to go back to what Mike says and what we were talking about, and you talking about being owners, taking the Packers approach. Arlington, can you imagine what we saw in San Antonio, but fans owning that team?
Yep.
I mean, in St. Louis, the fans owning a piece of the team. In DC, the beer snake.
Man,
the fans
in St.
owning
Louis.
A piece
Oh my God.
DC. It would just be it would be absolutely insane.
God, that would erupt
insane. Oh yeah,
it would.
100%.
It would
Jersey,
set the XFL up for success for the next 10 years. I'm just saying, it'll set the XFL up for success for the next 10 years or more.
I say longer than that. I say longer than that. I'd say next 20 years. If you got the fans involved to where they're part owners of those teams, I say the next 20 years. Next 20 years. You would, and then we would be able to, like Arlington's been preaching on our show for 5 years. We could then have superstars. We could have superstars. Oh, now look.
I really ain't got to say much else for real.
Out there that don't
see, Jersey.
Look, there are players out there that don't care to go to the NFL.
Jersey,
they really want to go to the spring leagues and play.
You see his head? His head's starting to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, the headphones he's got on are barely even fitting his head now because we're sitting here talking about everything he's been talking about, how great he's been, all the stuff he's been talking about. Look at his head growing.
This is
gotta love him. Gotta love Arlington.
Hey, so Mike just asked about the Bishop Gorman deal. That was about production value.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you want to
know the faculty
wasn't going to bring. I mean,
production value.
I know Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman's the biggest high school in Las Vegas. Like when it comes to producing football stars that make it to the league and things of that nature. Bishop Gorman is that school out here. I'm gonna tell you that. It's been like that for years. Bishop Gorman is that when it comes to the high school football teams out here, and they've produced a lot of talent over the years. But the like A-Train said, the production value just wouldn't be there trying to bring the fans. It's just hard, man. I really feel they should just renovate Cashman, make that thing a 25,000 seater, move the Las Vegas Lights to somewhere else, and give the Vipers.
I would have done. Hey man, I would have done Aviators, at least the Aviator ballpark, man.
Right, I got to tell you guys this.
Something.
Hold on, listen. I'd love to stay, but I do have somewhere that I have to be. Arlington, you know me. I could sit here and talk XFL all year round,
all day,
and all day long. But I do have somewhere that I have to be. So
I love it.
Jersey the King, thank you so much for having me on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Do I get to do the cheap plug before I go?
This is huge for me.
I have a feeling Arlington's going to stay for
Yes, do your thing.
But cheap plug, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Jersey's time, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Watch the X Fan Show with me at Arlington. Oh, 12. Yeah, see, idiot. And then Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's B-Hawk Live with myself, the Queen Hyena, Amanda, and Daddy Ed. So yeah, but thank you for having me. I wish I could stay, but I do have
Yes,
somewhere
sir.
I have to go to for Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all you people out there.
No problem, brother. I want to thank you
All right, how do you
for taking 2 hours out of your morning to, come and hang out with me, man, and grace me with you guys' presence. Like, this is so huge for me.
I'm
And like I
leaving.
said, next
I'm
week I'll
leaving.
be
Not
having
really.
Scooby Maguez on. So,
I'm leaving. You can
well,
keep going.
hey.
I just gotta go.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying I'm excited
Yeah.
that you guys took the time out to come on, and A Train's going to continue on with us. But Dirty, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, guys. I really,
No
really
worry.
do, man.
How do
Thank
you
you.
no, don't worry about
I
it. Thank you
got
for
you.
having me. How do I get out of here? All right. Arlington, I
Just
love you,
in the
brother.
top, just leave the
Pleasure, man.
standard.
All right.
Yeah, leave studio at the top. That's all you got to do.
Gotcha. All right.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you
You
for
have a good
everybody.
one, man. Thank you for being on. And again, guys, X Fan
Yeah, man.
Show on Facebook Live. Gotta make sure you guys go and follow them. They have an awesome show. They just had Anthony Beck, the head coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks, on their show, as well as the wide receivers coach, Ricky Prohl. So, like, these guys are doing their thing when it comes to the XFL, and that's why I went to them to have them come on the show, because they're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fans when it comes to that. I mean, XFL fans, these guys are the biggest. They have created something that's just amazing. They're not just doing it for themselves, like A Train and Dirty were saying. They have a whole legion now. They're reaching out to other podcasters like myself, and helping us grow, and just them being small themselves and starting from the bottom and then making it to where they are now. These guys were at the XFL championship game. You know what I mean? So having you guys here, A Train, is just, it's awesome, man. Having you guys take time out of your day to really chill with me and chop up with me, and just football in general, and to see that we have the same type of mind, and some of the things that we've been talking about, and what some of the things that I've said, you've already been preaching for years. You know what I mean? So
Listen,
it's
dude,
awesome to
I have
see
been wanting.
football minds come together.
Yeah, I've been wanting this thing to work for, even back in 2001, I wanted to work. But even when 2020 came around, I was
Yeah.
like, I just wanted the XFL to be strong, man, and it had a good
Yeah.
fan base with it. And I remember the times that we had with the St. Louis Battlehawks and Kurt Hunzinger, who was the team president in St. Louis,
Yep.
and how they had to work with us and whatnot, and how we were working with them, and we were trying to make sure we built St. Louis into a big XFL fan base to believe in professional football again. Even if it wasn't the NFL, we wanted them to
Right.
believe in it. And the 2 wins that they got back then was fantastic. And then when it came to this season, they got the modern day football record attendance wise with the 38,000. It
Man.
just showcased that, hey, Louis still love professional football, and they still think that they can make it work. And that's great.
See, I don't want them to do that, Mike.
Nope.
I don't want them to do that. I don't
Mm-mm.
want them to sell. I want them to show that they can come in, do what they did by buying the league, and
Mm-hmm.
succeed. Why sit here and sell to a company like Endeavor? Then this is what's going to happen. They're going to try to a developmental league for the NFL, and then we get a crap spring football league and something we don't want. I promise you, that's all that'll
But
happen.
that's how they're looking at it now. That's how they're looking at it now. Jersey is that the XFL is nothing but a developmental league for the NFL, because the NFL had to do nothing,
Nothing at
absolutely
all.
nothing. Didn't have to pay anything to say, hey, we want to create a league to Bill Guys. They looked at it as the NCAA was going to be that for them, right? And they didn't have to
Yep.
pay anything for that. So getting leagues like the USFL, European League of Football, XFL, IFL, the NAL, like leagues like that, they don't have to do anything.
Yeah. at all.
They ain't like the NBA that
Yeah,
said, "Hey, we'll create a G League where we can get draftees or paying money for that." And it's their own league though. And so NFL was like, "We're not doing that,"
right. And
and
that's
they
why
won't do it.
I hate the talk of expansion or the merge talk between the USFL and the XFL. I hate that talk so much because I don't want that merge to happen. There's no need. Let's have two successful spring leagues. Why not? Let's give all that talent out there that gets overlooked by the NFL or doesn't, or those players who don't, they know coming out of college, they're not going to have a chance in the draft. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players out there who make sure they get a degree before they graduate college and finish their football career in college because they're looking at it as, I know I'm not going to get drafted, or I'm just playing this for the love of the game. I'm not looking to go into the NFL. In any situation that it could be, you know what I mean? These spring leagues are prime places for these players to play, whether they are trying to eventually make it to the NFL. They're just trying to be a Luis Perez, a spring league legend. But in like you said, he may be trying to for sure go to the NFL and be able to play at the NFL league and cement himself as not only a spring league legend, but a spring league player who made it to the NFL and became a starter. You know what I mean? And actually may
A
win
lot of
Super
people,
Bowl. Go ahead.
a lot of people are going to look at him. Are going to look at people like Taylor Heineke. They're going to look at PJ Walker. They're even going to look at Cavante Turpin for
Mm-hmm.
the Dallas Cowboys, for your Dallas Cowboys, right? And the reason why I use those names is because Cavante Turpin was with the USFL and he was the most valuable player. Then he got with the Cowboys and became uh, a return specialist Pro Bowler.
Yep.
So that's like, hey, I can get an opportunity to do the same thing if I find the right place to be in, right? And then the same thing can be said for
Exactly.
Taylor Heineke. When he came in, didn't even play an XFL game in 2020. They inserted him, but he also had, here's the difference though, he had experience in the NFL prior. And then his coach
Right.
at that trusted him because he had him before. That's the major difference with why Taylor Heineke was able to start and he was able to
Mm-hmm.
play because Rivera had him before.
Right. You're
So
exactly
that
right.
was that was kind of the crazy part about why Heineke had some success and didn't do anything in the XFL. That's because he already kind of did it. But then when he got the opportunity to do it in Washington, hey, they trusted him, and now he's with the Falcons, and now even with PJ
Right.
Walker, who's now with the Bears, and he would be, in my mind, considered the. I would love using Heineke, but PJ Walker was the XFL to the NFL, where he actually played in the NFL pack when he got to the NFL. Heineke did not. He just was there.
Right.
PJ actually played, and in the
Right.
5 games that he played, everybody was considering him to be Offensive Player of the Year anyway. And so, with that being said, looking at his uh, way to get to the league, he still have to deal with the struggle because now he's backing up Justin Fields. He's a younger quarterback is in front of him, so
Yep.
it's harder for him at this rate. So, when he did get that
And he
opportunity in
was just
Carolina,
a starter in Carolina.
exactly, and now you right back, but he's not. That's not stopping him. You know what I'm saying? It's
Nope.
not being like I'm not finna sit here and just not do this because I'm not
I'm gonna just
starting.
work harder. I'm gonna
Exactly.
just work harder. I'm gonna
You
get
know
my
what?
Geno Smith on.
I would love for him to come back to the XFL, man. Yeah, and you
I
mentioned
would
Geno
too.
Smith, but even with that being said, I'm sitting here like, hey, these are guys. Who is it? Donald Parham, for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Before he got injured last season, he was a major effect in the XFL and in the NFL. So, you do
Mm-hmm.
have guys that can make an impact. It's got to be the right system for them. And we talked about the
Exactly.
the near 30 players that have been signed contracts. They may not even make the 53-man roster.
Yep. And they'll be right back in that player 54 spot.
And on the practice, either they're on the practice squad or they will get cut, and so they'll be
Mm-hmm.
right back to the XFL. And that's
Yep.
my thing with the XFL. I want them to have their own stars. I want them
Yeah.
to look really, really do a deep dive in the old USFL approach from 1983 to 1985. Find out what did not work
Yes.
and what did was they really can
Yeah.
and stay away from the competitive nature of the NFL. Like you want to compete with them, you
Hmm.
still can be one of those leagues that can have some great success and not compete against the NFL. I get it. The NFL is king.
Because
They're
there's
the
really no
cartel have been
need.
around.
But there's no need to compete with the with the NFL. And the reason why I say that is because the XFL just showed it this season. We don't have to compete. We're gonna start our season a week after the Super Bowl, so you don't get to miss out on no more football. You get to continue having football. So we not only that, we're gonna take advantage of that because people still got that. We want football. We want football. We want football. Damn, the season's over because the Super Bowl's here and now it's gone. You know what I mean? And with the XFL, you're taking advantage of that. So there's no need to compete. And there's no need to try and direct developmentally where there's NFL owners and team owners owning XFL teams and all that other crap. You just continue to keep it like it is. We go and develop players through our league. Your scouts can come and check them out. And if you guys want to invite them, invite them. If not, guess what? They're going to stay here. You know what I mean? There's no reason to compete with
Right.
the NFL and try and be the top dog. There's no
And I
reason
just
because
hoping that
you've already set yourself up for a prime position to be
yep.
successful for the next 10, 15 years. And like we were saying, if they were to give the public opportunities to buy into these teams, you're successful for 30, 40 years. No doubt
And I
about it.
think this league can really surpass that, because again, we talked about it early in the show was about the game, and that's what everybody cares for is the game itself. Because remember, we talked about the uh yeah, don't compete, stay in your
Exactly.
lane, grow strong on your own design. Exactly. Exactly. That's what the XFL can do in this realm.
Hmm.
And having a completed season going into 2024, doing these showcases, getting ready to deal with cuts and whatnot. My thing is this: there's going to be some players that felt like, hey, the XFL, I'm too good for the XFL. There are going to be some players that feel that way,
Hmm.
and they're going to try to demean the XFL. If you watch those games, I saw NFL players responding on social media about how fun the
A lot
XFL
of them.
looks to play.
Yes, a lot of them. They love the rule changes. A lot of them love the way the XFL is set up and the different things. Like so many players in the NFL want that 3-point conversion. They
The
really want
two, yeah,
that
the
three
one,
point
two, and three
conversion
point conversion.
opportunity because
But
kicking the ball
you
every
know what I'm
time is just
saying?
like,
Right. And then what they did to change it up was say, hey, we're not gonna give you the gimme kick, so we're gonna make you go a
earn
little
it.
further back. You could and hit it from what 30 yards out to make the extra point to make it more difficult.
Yeah,
Hell, it's difficult to score one from the 2 yard line.
exactly,
It's difficult to.
exactly.
I really think if you really looked at how that scoring system played out, yes, it's difficult to go from 10.
Hmm.
Maybe not as much from 5, but 2 yards out, that's
That
difficult.
you got them big boys in there.
And they
You
ready
got
to
them big boys in
stop
there,
you. And that's
right?
what the cool thing about the XFL was, and even with the 4th and 15 play, because all they did was from that is they borrowed from the AAF because they did a 4th and 12 to 25, which I understood it. It was perfect. It was
Yeah.
exactly like, hey, you ain't got to kick the ball. 4th and 12, see if you can make a first down. And then the whole thing,
Hmm.
what Dirty did not tell you, and I'm going to tell the truth to your audience today, is when that happened, we were at the San Antonio St. Louis first game, right?
Right.
I was like, man, this is getting boring. And it was 15-3. We walk out the stadium. I walked out the stadium. Me and my lady, we walked out the stadium. Come to find out, we got a fan that came running to us, said, hey, you do know they tied the game up. Like, what? Are
What?
you serious? Are you for real right now?
What?
They had tied the game up at 15 apiece. And I think it was
Mm.
Austin Pro converted the 3-point
Epic game changer.
conversion. So we watched the rest of the game and didn't even know that they sat back and
Oh wow.
scored and then converted the fourth and 15, scored again, and then got the 3-point conversion after that. Shocking. It was ridiculous. I mean, he was like, we missed all
And
of that. And he's like, yep. And we watched it, and kid, we watched it on the rest of the game on the phone. Because I had ESPN Plus, and I was gonna
and
do
you
it just
know,
for the simple fact for the season.
right.
And I was like, dang, that was the best moment, and we missed it. And because we was mad, man, because we was like, it felt like a Rams game again and all that. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, being in the Alamo Dome, it felt like being in the dome at America Center in St. Louis.
Right.
There's just something about the facade. Just the only difference was the colors of the seats. It, I got all the little, like, man, this reminds me so much of the dome at America Center. And so, yeah, man, I was like, this. It was a fantastic experience being there at these games. Going to Houston, going to San Antonio for the first game and the championship game, and then, I missed out on St. Louis.
Right.
But hey, I already knew what to expect if I were to go.
Yeah,
And
it's gonna be
seeing
probably the best
Dirty
fun you
in
probably have.
seeing Dirty in Arlington and seeing him in Vegas and in Seattle. He's making these trips out there. I don't think he did DC this year, because Daddy Ed and Amanda did that. But here's the thing: we were everywhere.
Yeah, you guys
We
were.
were at each. We were at all the venues. So that's the coolest thing about it was that we were able to see great football action that whole year, and that's something I'll never forget. Being able to see the players
Be
and being
there
able to
live
see the
too.
production crews. Yeah, it was quite an experience for, to be at a game where the cost wasn't was great. It was like going to a game for 20-25 bucks. Yes, let's do
Yeah,
that. I know I really was upset with Houston, but I was like, I can't be, because at the time I'm like, I get it was correlating next to the Astros season. It was correlating with
mhm,
the University of Houston. It was correlating a bit with what was going on with the Texans and their training camps and the draft and whatnot.
right.
And I think the Astros, but I was like, they were talking about how they were one of the biggest and best crowds, and they didn't come back. Like I said before, it was about trusting the league, and they didn't.
Right.
It was hard,
You're
and I
absolutely right.
think
You are.
it was hard really trusting coming back to the league. And I think in season 2, I think there's going to be a bump up. I don't think it's
I
going to
do
go
too.
backwards. It's going to go up because of what transpired during the year. Like, you want to be here.
Yeah,
Just it's going to have to change a bit about how the game day experience is going to be. If you're going to focus on the fans, you got to make sure you have some aspect. Almost got to learn like what minor league baseball does. I
yep.
know they try to implement some of that at most of these venues. Some got to change where it can engage. You got to have that fan engagement, because that is
You
the
do.
that is the key part. Other than
Those
just the game itself.
meet and greets are huge. And a lot of
Absolutely.
people have to understand when these teams do meet and greets, they're attacking that local market that is needed to be attacked to get that exposure. Yeah, we professional football team, but we're still a professional football team and we represent this city. Come check us out. Come support us. That's what those meet and greets are about. And then they need to do more of it next season. And I think they're going to attack that. I think that's one of the things that they're going to do is, have more type of meet and greets, have more community events for the players to participate in and things like that. Because if you don't, what the heck was the point of cutting that 20% of your marketing staff if you wasn't going to change something?
Yeah,
I just,
exactly. That makes perfect sense.
what was the point? You know what I mean? If you're not going to change something, if you're not going to make the change, then what was the point of firing all those people or letting them go, even if they were seasonal? What was the point? Because you got to change your marketing strategy this time around. If you want these local markets to strive, if you want the in-game attendance to rise, some of these areas that you feel, you got to do more of these. Hey, these players are out here doing a community event, raising money for this local foundation and that local foundation and this, that, and the third. They really need to start attacking the local market and the local community itself. Maybe not so much of the whole media and advertising with the local news stations and all that stuff, but they really have to start attacking the community and getting their team and players out there in the community. Players that you know are going to be on your roster come February of 2024 when the season starts, then have those players out there. Hey, we're doing this community fundraising event. Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that within the community. Come hang out with the Vegas Vipers. Come hang out with the St. Louis Battlehawks. Come out here to Orlando. Come hang out with the Orlando Guardians at Disney World. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because you got the ESPN, you got the Disney effect. Like, come on, man. Like, that would have been huge. And I'm like, you almost have to use that to your advantage now. Like, listen, okay, we got packages for you if you come to Orlando. We got packages if you come to Vegas. We got something for you. If you choose to come and join us for a game, hey, we'll set something up for you where, hey, you can join us for this, and then you can get discounted stuff off of wherever you go. For go to Disney World, or hey, you want to go to casinos and stuff. I got something for New York or whatnot. You know what I mean? Something where that will bring in, say, hey, we can go here. Hey, man, we should kick it for a game, and then we can go hang out at the casino like right afterwards. You know what I mean? So that is something
go
to
to these
engage in
radio stations. You know what I mean? Give away tickets on the radio station. XFL game tickets. You know how many people in St. Louis would they're calling. You know how many
But
people
see,
in
the thing
San
was they
Antonio?
didn't need to, because they already knew that it was going to be there, and because it already was going to
Yeah,
be
you're
there,
right.
they didn't need to do anything.
St. Louis didn't need it.
38,000,
St. Louis didn't
30,000,
need it. You're right. People were waiting
175,000
when
for the season, man.
when the
175,000.
guys, viewers watching, when the XFL announced a comeback for 2023 and St. Louis was one of the teams, people in St. Louis went, but they were so ready. Why? Because all they want is a football team. That's all they want. They got all the
That's
other
all they want.
sports. They just want a football team.
And
That's it.
then for it to have that soccer and baseball kind of going coherent all at the same time, that was big for the city. That was bringing in money. So they were cool with that. Oh, yep.
Especially having
XFL
Albert
at Six
Pujols
Flags.
back
50
in
your next ticket. Anybody that got an amusement in your city. Yes.
boom.
That's major.
SeaWorld, any of that. Like San
No.
Antonio. San Antonio, that would be huge. SeaWorld tickets, 50% off SeaWorld tickets.
Or,
Six
in
Flags Magic
Fiesta, if you're in
Mountain.
Fiesta, Texas, you know what I mean? You go into Six Flags there. So come on, man. Like, the opportunities are endless, man. So yeah, man. Hey, I've enjoyed this. I have enjoyed this conversation, man. I really
Definitely,
have,
brother.
man. Hey, and always, sir, you got a home. You got a home with the Legion, man. So you keep doing your thing, man. And we're gonna make sure that people know who you are too.
I appreciate the love, man. Thank you, man. I'm definitely happy to be a part of the Legion because it's all about us
Yes, sir.
as fans.
It is,
Just
because
in this
we
league
the
grow
fans.
as fans. Right. Because if it's a fan based league, we are the reason that the league's gonna grow and succeed. It ain't just about sales. That's what people have to realize. Because if we ain't watching it and we ain't buying the tickets and buying the merchandise, there's no success.
Exactly. But you got to spend money to make the money. So, hey, man, I got to get out here
Exactly.
myself. Got to get out here myself too, man. I know I was like I was gonna stay over just a little bit, but I know I got to go too.
Not a problem, man. Again, thank you,
Yes,
for
sir.
being here. And
Yes, sir.
get your shout out on before you leave. Most
First, shout out to
definitely.
Jersey the King, man, for allowing us to come in and do our thing here. Make sure you join the H. You follow me, the A Train Show on Twitter. You can go find me on Instagram at the A Train Show. Also, the X Fan Show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. I had to make sure I got all of them out there. So we're there. Make sure you follow us today and go subscribe to our stuff.
Word
We
up.
just had you saw it yourself. We saw Ricky Prole on the show. And yeah, man,
Yes, sir.
we continue to do this thing every Tuesday and Thursday, 11 o'clock. Uh, make sure that y'all tune into his show. Continue to tune into this show, man. It's a good dude. It's a good
Thank you,
dude.
brother.
I'm glad we were able to link up and make this thing work, man.
I am too, man. It was very, very fun with you guys. I definitely had a good time today. And the crazy thing is, we went for 2.5 hours, and I still got so much more to talk about. So thank you for
Stop this one
making
and
this.
do another one. Make
Look,
an 18, dog. Go ahead and make
not,
an 18
not
episode,
even.
man.
Thank you for making this a great show, man. Because I wasn't expecting it to be this good, but man, thank you so much again, y'all.
Dude,
A
I could talk
Train
about this all day,
X
man.
Fan Show. I already know. I already know. That's why I love it. But you guys already know. Go follow my man A Train and Dirty, the X Fan Show. These are great guys. They're doing it for the league. They're doing it for the XFL fans and guys like myself who are broadcasting and covering the XFL itself as well. So big shout out to these guys. Make sure you go drop a follow and on everywhere. Go subscribe and follow everywhere and show them some love, man. Thank you again for being here, A Train.
Thank you, man. Thank
I
you, man.
really appreciate it, man.
All right.
Until next time, y'all heard them Tuesdays and Thursdays. X Fan Show live on Facebook and everywhere else. So go check them out, y'all. Thank you again, brother. Y'all, this one connections, networking. Have a good one, brother. You know what I mean?
Thank
This
you,
is
man.
this is what it's all about. It's amazing, y'all. This just to be able to connect with guys like that, man. That's just awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. Did y'all enjoy yourselves? Because we still got some more to talk about. As y'all see, there's the XFL results for round one of the XFL draft. Here is the schedule for today itself. What we were supposed to be talking, the rest of what we're going to be talking about. So uh, I am going to get into the USFL right now. Jersey's getting knocked the hell out of the playoffs. Oh my god! It's 26-6. They're getting blown out. Not even going to talk about it. New Jersey's. I still got the rest of the show, man. I still got the rest of the show. But yeah, New Jersey's getting beat on, man, right now. Um, it's not looking good for them at all. And I think that's the wrong schedule that I put up because that's not even the right game. It's supposed to be Pittsburgh versus New Jersey. Oh no, I did put it up right. My bad. No, but y'all know what time it is. It's mail time, baby. Let me ask. Did you guys just hear that? I need to know. Finally got some mail. Yeah, they are, bro. We got some fan coming in from Hit. He asked. Oh, I got some fan mail from Misprint as well. Hit asks. First fan mail question is what are your team picks for next season in general? Y'all heard that? That's awesome. Vegas. I think Vegas and Arlington in the championship. I'm gonna take a long shot here and say Vegas and Arlington in the XFL championship. I think Arlington goes back to the XFL championship if Luis Perez is there at quarterback. Oh, that's awesome. Dope. Dope. But yeah, man. I think it's gonna be Arlington and Vegas. I'm gonna keep 100. I'm not gonna count my Vegas Vipers out. All right, question 2 from Hit. Would you rather have teams do a meet and greet after the game or mid games like a day they don't have games, like during the week? Yes. Yes, honestly, yes, I would, because I feel that engaging with the community more, especially throughout the week before game day, is huge. It will be big for these teams, especially with the local community, and trying to get these fans to come and support the team and be at the games and pay for tickets and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I really feel. Well, no, it's not biased. Those aren't biased picks. We'll get back to that in a second. But no, I feel that if they really do the meet and greets throughout the week, it sets them up for success to have, a huge crowd wise games. You know what I mean? So generally throughout the week would be best. After the game, not so much. Like, you can do autograph signings or whatever the case, but I feel the meet and greets and like fundraisers and community events throughout the week is perfect. But no, those aren't biased picks. The reason why I pick Vegas is because, like we were talking about earlier, we're going to be getting a new head coach. That's one. For two, Jalen McClendon he was the coach should have been in position or should have been the starter last year for Vegas. That's why I picked Vegas. Okay. Now, I feel that they are the team to beat. Period. Even though DC had the best record in the league this season, I still feel that Arlington is the team to beat. Why? Because they are the ones who won the championship. So that's why I picked Vegas and Arlington. All right. Now, Hit's last question, advertisement or media base, or on the social wave. Can I be 100% honest with you, Hit? Both. Both. The physical advertisement will be dope. You got people out here like Snipes. We used to call them back in the day for musicians. They would have people go out here and post their posters all over the place. Do stuff like that. Hand out flyers. You know what I mean? Promote the games coming up in your local city. You know what I mean? Have people out there advertising physically, putting up posters and promotional flyers and things like that. And, the media as well. Social media, radio, television, news, all that. They need to attack all markets, and I guarantee it'll help. It'll help the league fans to engage, because now we're going into our second season. So about the league not succeeding, the XFL is going into its second season. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel. And even for the USFL, they should do, to answer all the questions. The USFL should do the same thing. Now on to Miss Prince. Let me pull your questions up, Miss Prince. All right. Question 1 from my boy Miss Print. We got some more. Question 1 for a beginner. Who is known as being the worst, always losing the team in the NFL? There's 3 to 4, maybe 5. Cleveland Browns were one. uh my Cowboys at a time was one. Long time. The Jaguars, long time. The Detroit Lions for a long time. There's a few. There's actually a few different teams, Miss Brent, that were just crap teams and they were always losing. But there's been a lot of turnarounds. Jacksonville's turned around tremendously. Detroit's even turned around. Washington's turned around. A lot of teams have turned around. But back in the day, those were the teams that were really just crap teams. Even, like I said, for almost 30 years, my Cowboys were just crap team. So it is what it is. And then so second question is similar question, just winning Patriots. For a time, we won 5 Super Bowls. The Steelers. Now the Chiefs. I mean, there's a bunch of teams, so it's just the era of when they were having these these runs and screw y'all. What I mean, it's just areas for different teams, but you know, if you look at it, the top 4 teams in history when it comes to like Super Bowl championships, it's pitched. They have 6. New England Patriots have 5. Dallas Cowboys have 5. San Francisco 49ers have 5. And then the list just starts to dwindle from there. You know what I mean? So that's how that rocks. From my memory, what is the most impossible comeback game ever in NFL history? Just recently, oh my god, recently, last season, Minnesota Vikings versus the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts are up 33-0 at halftime, and then all of a sudden, after halftime, you tell me these Indianapolis Colts only score 3 points. The Minnesota Vikings come back, win. They take the game into overtime, y'all. Scored 39 in the second half, and that's just including the second half together. 39 points, and the Indianapolis Colts only scored 3 in the whole entire second half and overtime combined. Are you serious? Are you serious? What was that? This team is down 33-0, getting their socks blown off. And you mean to tell me they go into halftime, whatever the hell happened in halftime, I don't know, cocaine was in the locker room or something, just saying. But these boys just come out of nowhere and they're just a better team now. And the Indianapolis Colts, who put up 33 points in the first half, don't score not a near. Stop. Bullshit. It was a rigged comeback. That's what it was. It wasn't even. It was impossible. It should have never even damn happened. Okay, should have never happened at all. You dig? I'm not. I'm just. Yeah, I'm not. I can't. Yeah, that should have never happened. But that's all the fan mail we got for today. Thank you, Miss Print. Appreciate you guys. I do got to use the restroom really quickly, so please give me one moment, guys, to go and use the restroom right back. What it do? What it do? What it do? I did wash my motherfucking hands, nigga. You work. Uh, uh, uh. That's how you feel, hit. Fuck you, bro. Hey yo. um I did want to talk about some things with Saquon Barkley and him. Saquon Barkley is not happy in New York right now with the Giants. For some my opinion, I feel that he didn't sign the franchise tag because he should have been given more money. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley should have been given the extension. He's worth more money. He's worth more to that team than Daniel Jones is. And Daniel Jones literally is not so good quarterback. Like, I feel they should make Daniel Jones prove himself again. Let prove himself this season. Like, here, you know what I mean? If you do this again, okay, then we'll give you a contract extension. But to sit here and pay that man all that money, man, and then to give Saquon a franchise tag, yeah, if I was Saquon, I wouldn't sign it either. You know what I mean? Like, I would not sign it either. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't because I just I wouldn't. It's not worth the. He's not. You're not giving him the money out there. Familiar with Saquon Barkley, you guys know and the offense for the last few seasons. There's nobody else out there who has really been producing on that team. So I just feel that you know Saquon deserves more money, and if he sits out this season, I don't blame him. Real talk, I don't blame him honestly because I just feel like he's worth more than what they're trying to offer him. Period, point blank. He's definitely worth more than what they're trying to offer him. And to sit here and not give that man his bag after he's helped carry your team, it's BS to me. He deserves it. Daniel Jones don't deserve all that money. And I don't know, man. Um, Now let's move on to something else. Who do y'all think should start for the 49ers at Trey Lance or Brock Purdy? Trey Lance got hurt yet last year. Jimmy Garoppolo came in, got hurt, but Brock Purdy comes in, leads the team to the play, loses in the playoffs because he got hurt. Now Purdy's coming back off of injury. Trey Lance is coming back off of injury. Garoppolo's no longer on the team. So who do you feel should be the quarterback? Me personally, I think Trey Lance because he was the starter last season, and the only reason why he was the starting by the end of the season was because. How do y'all feel? Talk to me, chat. Like, don't get me wrong, Trey Lance is a more mobile quarterback, but I feel Brock Purdy has a better arm. But I just feel that Lance should get his job back. I mean, do y'all agree? I'm just saying. Y'all agree? Maybe. We'll keep them. Let me know what y'all think. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, who do you feel has the biggest chip on their shoulder going into next season? Now, I ain't even going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. No. Okay. Whoever can play better on their shoulder. The Bills, Josh Allen. The Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Justin Herbert from the Chargers. Or Geno Smith from the Seahawks. Or Lamar Jackson. Or Geno Smith. I want to know what y'all think because see, Geno just got an extension after how well he played last year in Seattle. Lamar Jackson just got his extension in Baltimore. Buffalo hasn't done well because they got knocked out of the playoffs the last couple seasons. They lost Brian Dable to the Giants. He's now the head coach of the Giants. He was the offensive coordinator for the Bills before last season, and then that showed last year for the Bills with Josh Allen and all the turnovers he had. I'm his quarterback. He's got so much to prove. Like, are you worth being a starting quarterback, caliber quarterback? You and Mike McCarthy's future is in your hands in a way. So he has a lot to prove. He may have the biggest chip aside from Lamar Jackson. And I think the reason why Lamar Jackson has the biggest chip on their shoulder is because of all the haters, because of the whole contract issue with Baltimore and how they wasn't going to try to pay him. I think Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott are the two quarterbacks that are going into this next season with the biggest chip on their shoulder. And then Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, and then Justin Herbert. That's my opinion, personally. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But as y'all see, here's a schedule for the USFL this week. Currently, like I said, New Jersey just lost, so the playoffs. Pittsburgh just put themselves into the matchup between Philly and Michigan. Whoever wins out of that will be in the playoffs, and then you'll have one of those teams joining Pittsburgh for your North Division playoff game. And then the South, the Birmingham Stallions are awaiting the Memphis Showboats, New Orleans Breakers, or Houston Gamblers. So that's what we're looking at going into the last week of the regular season in the USFL. I think we may not get the best games. Today was simply a blowout, 26-6. New Jersey just didn't come through this season, so their season's over. After the playoffs last year and almost making it to the championship game, losing to Philly, this season was just a total opposite of what we had last season. So that game's done. It's in the books, 6-6. Pittsburgh just punched their ticket into the playoffs. Then later on today, you have the Birmingham Stallions taking on the Memphis Showboats, and that's on Fox. That'll be coming on actually right now. Then you got tomorrow, you have two games on slate to end the regular season. You got the Philadelphia Stars and the Michigan Panthers as a second game, and then you have the New Orleans Breakers and I believe the Houston Gamblers tomorrow. So, oh, we might have breaking news. Hold on. Uh oh. Wow. Yes, Kobe Blair from the San Antonio Brahmas signed to the New York Giants. Chris Blair, or Kobe Smith, sorry. Chris Blair of the DC Defenders, wide receiver, signed to Atlanta. Marcel Aitman, Buffalo Bills, signed him, wide receiver from the St. Louis Battlehawks. Darius Shepard, wide receiver from St. Louis Battlehawks, signed to Los Angeles Chargers. And this is all just in the month of June, but just recently it was Smith and Chris Blair. So, yeah, that's huge. We're talking about earlier, there's a bunch of players who made it to the NFL and got signed. They got their invites, but over 30 players out of the 65 plus that were invited have got signed. So we'll see if they make the cut and make the team or the practice squad, or if they'll be back in the XFL next season. So we just got to wait and see. You know what I mean? But Before we get up out of here today, y'all know my birthday was last week. But my queen, she just insists on spoiling me and giving me even more gifts. So, we got another gift right here, y'all. This good old Star Wars bag. Let's go up in here and let's see what we got up in here. I'm gonna go through all that. Ooh. Look at that. That's sexy. Ooh. Now we Vegas up. Ooh. We Vegas up. And it's maroon. Yeah, and it's a Vegas Golden Knights hat. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. And they just won the Stanley Cup. Let's go. Vegas sports, baby. I love you, babe. Thank you. She spoils me, y'all. That's all she does. Spoil me. Look, I even got a new ring. You know what I mean? It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes, man. May the ball be with me. You know what, Hit? I can't with you sometimes. Okay. You know what I say to you, Hit? You know what I say to you? I got a lot of fucking alerts for you, buddy. Well, not even alerts. We're going to call them sounds. I got some sounds specifically for you, Hit. Especially when I start doing streams again, bro. Because you my dog. Look, yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Damn it. Huh? We tripping at the end of the show. All right. There we go. We back. Tripping. But like I was saying, human guys on the show next week. Make sure y'all are here and ready. Fan mail questions on on Facebook, Twitter, or email me at the Gridiron Podcast email and post your questions and send in your questions on the show. And like I said, if you have any questions for Scooby next week, make sure you post them, email them to me at the Gridiron Pod Gmail, or post them on my Facebook or my Twitter. Also, will be happening over the next month or two. Like I said, me and my wife are going to be moving, so we're going to be having a whole new setup for the studio and everything, man. So get ready. Branding the show is the Gridiron's going to have its own logo, its own everything. So everything's getting everything that works correctly, and I got set up, and it's going to be new. Brand the Gridiron itself. So be ready for that. Be on the lookout for that, man. I'm happy. I'm excited. Just a lot of things are coming. Like I said, next week we have Scooby Maguez on, an actual ESPN host. Man, so that's huge for us. That's like really, really big for us. We just already had 2 big name guys on the show today. You know what I mean? We had Gabriel Garcia on last week. Bless you, babe. He's big on Spotify. You know what I mean? Connections in the right direction, guys. So, yes, sir. This week, man, and it's gonna be popping. So hopefully everything will be set up for next week to where you know all the new logos and everything are done. So have it, we'll definitely be ready for it. You know what I mean? But again, till next week, I'll let your boy Jersey the King, man.